Chapter 1144. This time, someone had injected money into the Higgins Group's public welfare fund planning in order to earn a few hundred million yuan. Niayu thought that Bai Yunj was just like other people from other groups who wanted to make a public welfare fund to earn a good reputation. Therefore, he didn't care too much about the development of this plan. However, he didn't expect Bai Yunj to come over today and step on Bai Yunj's bottom line repeatedly. Do I care if you did it? Bai Yunj smiled faintly. There was no warmth in his eyes. Every word he said hit Niayu's heart and made him tremble. What's the difference between a traitor and an idiot? Niayu's scalp went numb. This proposal, and the detailed information at the bottom were very thick. In the past, he had always thought that Bai Yunj was a scientific research genius. However, when it came to the company, he could only rely on Shang Yan. However, reality poured a bucket of cold water on him. Not only did Bai Yunj have an amazing memory, but he was also very familiar with business. He could remember the contents and data analysis of these plans after reading them once, and even see the loopholes. Get rid of all the rotten and useless people in the company. If you don't want to stay here, you can give me the next proposal. I'll also talk to Shang Yan about it. Bai Yunj tried to maintain a calm tone, but it still made Niayu shiver. Niayu couldn't help but look at Bai Yunj again. While he was afraid of Bai Yunj, this was the first time he truly recognized this person as the successor of Higgins Group. Yes, Mississippi, Niayu hurriedly responded. For the next half an hour, Niayu braced himself and listened to Bai Yunj's correction of the proposal and the data of the historical information. He was scared witless. Niayu could also see that Bai Yunj was suppressing his anger, so he was afraid that in the next moment, Bai Yunj would come up and strangle him and ask him if he wanted to die. It had to be said that although Bai Yunj was unwilling to take over at first, as long as he took over, he wouldn't allow Higgins Group to live off its previous assets like before. Have you remembered everything I asked you to do? Bai Yunj's voice sounded. Yes, Mississippi. Niayu's heart was numb. He looked at these plans and realized that none of them had survived Bai Yunj's hands. He suddenly began to miss Boss Shang, who had laughed and asked him if he had a brain. At least it was better than this big boss who would shoot arrows from the back when he was working. Finally, Bai Yunj was ready to leave. She did not ask Niayu to accompany her downstairs. Niayu also collapsed on the sofa, as if he had just escaped death. Bai Yunj pressed down on the brim of her hat. She was still in a bad mood. She did not expect the people sent by Shang Yan to be so unreliable. However, the next moment, the elevator door opened. Bai Yunj followed him out and realized that she had taken the wrong turn. This was the second floor. Bai Yunj snapped out of her daze. Before she left, she glanced at the people who were talking about cooperation not far away. She suddenly felt comforted. The people in this company weren't that bad. There was still hope. With this thought in mind, Bai Yunj was about to go down when she suddenly heard a familiar voice. Oh, Miss Chiu is making a scene here. Miss Chin has also graced us with her presence? Bai Yunj stopped in her tracks. She was sure that this Miss Chin was referring to her. Bai Yunj had just turned her head when she saw Chiu Han looking at a man with a beer belly with an ugly expression. Bai Yunj had been to the Chin Corporation a few times, so she knew Chiu Han. She was a rather gentle but swift woman. Miss Chiu, I said that you can leave with your plans. Kong Kuoju did not hide his deliberate targeting. Chapter 1145. Director Kong, you haven't even seen my proposal. How do you know that Higgins doesn't need to work with us? Chiu Han did not care about being wronged in the workplace, but she was angry at their hostile attitude towards the Chin family. Isn't it obvious enough? I mean, don't waste time. Our corporation will never work with the Chin family. After Kong Kuoju had finished speaking, he suddenly took out a cigarette and smiled while biting it. However, if Miss Chiu didn't want to stay and chat with me because of work, I wouldn't mind. Such malicious humiliation caused the surrounding people to jeer and laugh. Miss Chiu, don't joke around. That's right. Men don't like such an ugly expression. Chiu Han suppressed the anger in her heart and could only reveal a smile. The research institute that has strategic cooperation with the Chin family is the top research institute in the country. We have the best team. Suddenly, Kong Kwoju sized Chiohan up and asked, Miss Chio, what are your measurements? Instantly, Chiohan's face flushed red. It was the first time she had been humiliated in public. Suddenly, a slow voice sounded from the side. What, are you planning to get a boob job and a butt? These words caused everyone's smile to freeze, and the atmosphere to become cold. Kong Kwoju's face turned green and red. Eldest Missy. Chiohan did not know why Bei Yunj would appear here. She did not expect that the eldest Missy's first sentence would be so fierce. If she offended Kong Kwoju, she might offend Higgins in the future. Chiohan panicked for no reason. Just when she wanted to say something to remedy the situation, she heard Bei Yunj's question. Who allowed you to smoke here? Everyone. It was the first time they saw someone being so unreasonable in someone else's company. Chiohan immediately pulled Bei Yunj behind her. Director Kong, since we can't work out this time, I will find you next time. After she had finished speaking, just when Chiohan wanted to leave, she was stopped by Kong Kwoju. He asked with a cold smile. What do you mean? You want to leave? Bei Yunj, who was pulled behind Chiohan, remembered that this mess was hers. The stolen proposal of a few $100 million was also hers. The people who were smoking in the conference room were all her employees. Bei Yunj couldn't help but laugh in anger. What a lousy company. If it weren't for Nancy's stubbornness, she wouldn't have taken over such a rotten company. However, in everyone's ears, Bei Yunj's words became a blatant provocation. The eldest daughter of the Qin family is really something. She doesn't even like Higgins Group. Someone immediately gloated. Director Kong, did you see it clearly? This is the attitude of the Qin family. Chiohan's face darkened. You. At this moment, Cheng Zihuai's tone was also cold as he mocked. Bei Yunj, I advise you not to cause trouble for your brother. The Qin can't afford to offend the Higgins Group. So this is the famous young lady of the Qin family. Kong Kwoju said sarcastically. I didn't expect that in Miss Pei's eyes, our company would become a lousy company. Director Kong. Before Chiohan could finish speaking, she was interrupted by Kong Kwoju. I said as long as I'm here, Higgins Group will never consider the Qin family. Don't you understand human language? However, after he finished shouting, suddenly, a voice sounded from behind Kong Kwoju. What happened? Kong Kwoju panicked and immediately put out the cigarette. Director Nya. Chapter 1146. As soon as Nyeyu went downstairs, he heard the commotion inside. Kong Kwoju immediately pushed the blame and mocked. CEO Nya. People of the Qin family are causing trouble in front of our company. They are saying that Higgins is a lousy company. Chiohan's expression changed. CEO Nya, it's not like that. Compared to a small character like Kong Kwoju, Chiohan knew Nyeyu's position in Higgins better. It's that woman next to him. Kong Kwoju immediately pointed at Bei Yunj and said viciously. Initially, Nyeyu was annoyed, but when he glanced at Bei Yunj, his entire body froze. I don't know where the Qin family got the guts to humiliate our Higgins Group. However, I feel that in the future, there is no need for the Qin family to work with us. Kong Kwoju still showed an excited expression and proudly splashed dirty water on the Qin family. Instantly, Nyeyu's mind went blank as if there was only a row of words left. He was dead for sure. Clearly, it was not a small matter, since it could anger this ancestor to the point of scolding his company. Nyeyu's entire body froze as he felt a chill run down his back. He did not know what kind of expression he should have, and did not hear Chiohan's explanation. Inwardly, he wanted to press that talkative Kong guy with cerebral palsy to the ground and hammer him. He had guts. Of all people, why did he have to provoke the worst one? CEO Nya, let's talk upstairs. Bei Yunj's tone was indiscernible. Nyeyu's legs felt weak. Okay. Kong Kwoju, who was still scolding Bei Yunj, paused and did not realize that something was wrong. He watched as Bei Yunj entered the stairs first. Kong Kwoju did not forget to mock Nyeyu. CEO Nya, look, Missy of the Qin family has such a bad temper that she dares to walk in front of you. Nyeyu took a deep breath and resisted the urge to smash Kong Kwoju's head against the wall. Shut up. And at this moment, Chiohan chased after them with an anxious expression. Missy Qin, let CEO Qin handle this. No need. I was the one who said he was from a lousy company. I will just apologize. Bei Yunj suppressed his anger and was rather patient with Chiohan. Chiohan. When someone apologized, would their face have an expression that said, "I'll go upstairs and kill you"? Kong Kwoju also sneered recklessly. He was still waiting upstairs to watch a good show. Seeing Kong Kwoju's expression, Nieyu was speechless. Why did he blindly recruit such a brainless thing? Chiohan watched as the elevator door closed. Although she was anxious, she could only call Qin Lian. On the top floor. As soon as Kong Kwoju entered the door, he continued to speak passionately. CEO Nya, a company that looks down on our group like this does not deserve to be our partner. Next. Before Kong Kwoju could finish speaking, he saw Bei Yunj sitting at the desk. This was the CEO's office. It was said that it was prepared for the boss that didn't come often. What are you doing? How dare you? Before Kong Kwoju could yell at the top of his lungs, Nieyu suddenly said with difficulty, "Miss, please calm down." Kong Kwoju could not react for a moment. What was going on? Nieyu was Shang Yan's subordinate and never bowed his head to anyone. Then what was going on now? How did the eldest Missy of the Qin family become the Missy that Nieyu was talking about? This time, it's my fault for not being able to satisfy you in the initial stages of the establishment of the Cloud City headquarters. Nieyu continued. After Kong Kwoju heard this, he seemed to have been struck by lightning. Even if he did not understand, he could more or less guess Bei Yunj's identity. He remembered that the boss of the group seemed to be a woman. P.S. Good night. Chapter 1147. Kong Kwoju looked up suddenly, his pupils constricting. How was this possible? This elder young miss of the Qin family was the boss of Higgins Corporation. Kong Kwoju felt like he was soaked in cold water. It was so cold that he knew he was finished. He had already offended the boss. Nieyu. Bei Yunj licked his lips and chose his words carefully. I feel a little embarrassed at the thought that this lousy company is mine. However, Nieyu started to be afraid. Then who do you want to embarrass today? Bei Yunj played with the fountain pen in his hand and suddenly laughed ambiguously. I couldn't tell that the company's gender discrimination is quite deep-rooted. Why? Can't I eat at the table during the company's higher-ups gatherings in the future? Hearing this, Nieyu's legs almost turned to jelly. No, definitely not. Kong Kwoju shivered and did not dare to look up at Bei Yunj, especially when he thought of his death-seeking words downstairs. I said that as long as I, Kong Kwoju, am around, Higgins will never consider the Qin family. Kong Kwoju could not help but close his eyes. He had already expected his ending. He was really finished. Boss, I was really wrong. I didn't know you were. At the thought of what Cheng Zihuai had said, Kong Kwoju wanted to strangle Cheng Zihuai to death. Did Bei Yunj need to please her brothers and target Qin Yujiao? With this person's status, was it difficult to kill Qin Yujiao? Boss, I listened to slander. It was Cheng Zihuai who said that the Qin family doesn't respect Higgins at all, and is just cheating us of a cooperation opportunity. Boss, I did it for Higgins. Please forgive me this once. Kong Kwoju was still smart and knew how to shift the blame. However, Nieyu already understood Bei Yunj's character. Kong Kwoju, you can leave Higgins now. Nieyu's tone was cold. President Nya boss Kong Kwoju was unwilling. After looking at Nieyu, he looked at Bei Yunj, and a trace of darkness and cold laughter flashed past his eyes. However, after Kong Kwoju left, Bei Yunj asked unhurriedly, who did this charity fund project plan? Nieyu suddenly reacted. His body trembled as he looked in the direction where Kong Kwoju had left. He handed this project to Kong Kwoju. No matter how he thought about it, Kong Kwa had the highest chance of doing something. We have to gather all the evidence tonight. Don't let anyone escape. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, Nieyu quickly added, we'll gather all the evidence within 4 hours. What happened after that? Hearing this, Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows slightly and chuckled softly. She said casually, first, send a dishonest person to jail for more than 10 years before someone learns to be obedient. In his previous life, the company that Bei Yunj's grandfather had left to her was in a much better state than the current Higgins group. The higher-ups were also the backbone of the company. However, In the first 3 years of Bei Yunji's reign, he sent 7 of his subordinates to the police station. Those who had originally wanted to work for the Pei family as business spies felt a chill run down their spines. Downstairs, Kong Kuoji's expression was filled with hatred. He wanted nothing more than to destroy Bei Yunji on the spot. However, when he thought about how he had earned a lot of money from Higgins Group's projects over the years, his expression became slightly better. He cursed fiercely. F***ck, you're just a little girl. Do you really think I can't mess with you? Kong Kuoju went to pack his things with a sullen expression. Downstairs, Qiu Han paced back and forth anxiously. However, she saw Nie Yu and Bei Yunji coming down together. Chapter 1148. Qiu Han went up and quickly bowed to Nie Yu to apologize. Boss Nie, I'm really sorry. My miss. Before she could finish her sentence, a man hurried in from outside the door. His eyes were as handsome as ink, and his black hair was messy and slightly curled, but it looked sexy. His long legs under his black suit pants were especially eye-catching. Qin Luyan's voice was cold and slow, but his gaze landed on Bei Yunji. Boss Nie, my guer is young. If you want to settle the score, let's settle it. In the car just now, Qin Luyan had heard that Bei Yunji had offended Nie Yu. Bei Yunji raised his eyebrows. He was quite surprised that Qin Luyan would go against Nie Yu for his sake. Nie Yu was also a little scared. Settle the score? He dared to settle the score with boss's brother? Just now, Bei Yunji's tone was unprecedentedly gentle. Boss Qin, you must be joking. Miss Pei is very good. It's our company's negligence. We've already decided to fire Kong Kuoju as an explanation to your company. What do you think? After Nie Yu asked this, Qiu Han's head was filled with question marks. Was he serious? They had fired the founding elder of the Higgins family, just to give the Qin family an explanation? A trace of emotion flashed past Qin Lian's calm eyes before he glanced at Bei Yunji. Let's go home. Bei Yunji looked at Qin Lian and was silent for a moment. Big brother. Qin Lian's body froze, and the indifference in his eyes melted. He only replied in a low voice, okay. Bei Yunji seemed to have remembered something. He suddenly took the document from Qiu Han's hand and stuffed it into Nie Yu's hand. Boss Nie, you should have the time to take a look at this cooperation plan, right? Bei Yunji asked casually. Nie Yu was speechless. F***ck. The boss was going to take the back door personally. Yes, miss. Nie Yu hurriedly replied. This scene was inexplicably terrifying. Boss Nie, what are you afraid of? In the car, Qin Lian suddenly asked. Guer, you know Nie Yu? Yes. Bei Yunji did not intend to hide it. Qin Lian did not ask further. His expression was calm, but his knuckles were faintly white. Today his relationship with Guer had also improved a little. At the very least, Guer had taken the initiative to call him Big Brother today. At the thought of this, Qin Lian smiled. Bei Yunji did not think about anything else. She only played with her phone and thought about visiting Song Yao's production team in the afternoon. Hua Corporation. Luo Xie took a deep breath and turned to look at Huashidu. He complained. Huashidu, this is kidnapping. I invited you to attend my union's banquet. Huashidu was still dealing with official business and did not look up at him. That college entrance exam of yours? You did well. Luo Xie couldn't help but ask. Seng Su was even more excited than Huashidu. The top scholar of the college entrance examination. He's ranked first in the country. Huashidu was interrupted and looked up at Seng Su indifferently. So strong? After Luo Xie finished speaking, he suddenly reacted. But wasn't she still in Continent K a few days before the college entrance exam? This person is taking the exam naked? So what? Let me tell you. Our Miss Pei went for the exam with a high fever. Do you know? The second in the country is 10 points lower than her. What kind of difference is this in the college entrance exam, where 1 point defeats a group of people? Master Pei swept away thousands of people. Seng Su started to ramble incoherently. The man beside him asked slowly, Seng Su, are you done? Seng Su was speechless. Oh no, he had snatched Master Du's chance to show off. Chapter 1149. I didn't expect that girl to be such a top student. After Luo Xie found out that Bei Yunji's family background was not bad, and that she had 3 brothers who doted on her, He had always defined Bae Yunj as a useless second-generation heir. Sang-soo, go out for a while. After Sang-soo left, Hwashida said casually, what do you want to tell me? Yes, Bae Yunj. Are you playing around or serious? Luo Xia also knew that it was inappropriate for him to say this, but with Bae Yunj's condition, whether she was playing around or serious, it was quite scary. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the man stopped the pen in his hand and looked at Luo Xia calmly. He slowly capped the pen. Do you think I will waste my time looking for someone to play with? This was what Luo Xia was most afraid of. Luo Xia took a deep breath and turned on his computer again. He gave his investigation and analysis to Hwashidu. He said concisely, I have based on some of the background you gave me in Bae Yunj's previous tests. From a professional point of view, she has a big problem. As a brother, I have to remind you that this is a problem. Luo Xia looked at Hwashidu and did not speak. He said again, most people with serious problems like her have problems with the environment they grew up in. I have never met a patient like her type. If it were not for the new test machine, he would not have been able to determine that there was really a problem with Bae Yunj. In other words, the most difficult thing was not Bae Yunj's condition. It was Bae Yunj's unwillingness to cooperate, that he could not detect any problems with her. What are the chances of a complete cure? The man lowered his eyes and was thinking about something. I have never seen her when she has a relapse, so I can't guarantee it for you. And I can't be sure if she has inherited it. However, the biggest problem right now is her compatibility. Luo Xia was silent for a moment. Some people have a bidirectional type I disorder. There are 4 peaks. Have you been in contact with her? At that time? The man lowered his eyes and remained silent. I still want to give you a piece of advice. Little girls are the most sensitive when they're in love. Maybe you like Bae Yunj very much, but I don't know if you can stand the Bae Yunj who acts up again and again. Luo Xia sighed. I'm saying this for your own good, and for her own good. In a relationship, it might be a small matter, but for a bipolar type I patient, you never knew what she would think. I once met a young woman who almost killed her husband because of a small matter. However, Hwashidu only curled the corners of his lips into an ambiguous smile. He lit the cigarette at his fingertips and casually blew out a beautiful smoke ring. Really? I'm more afraid of what she'll do to me. Luo Xia was silent for a long time. Hwashidu had already lost completely. Do as you wish. I can help you keep an eye on her. But blood brothers, you have to pay more. Luo Xia didn't forget to say. Okay, thanks. Afternoon. Bae Yunja's eyelids twitched as she read the script. Boss, Madam has just finished her liver removal surgery. Does she know her mistake? Madam is no longer breathing. The results show that Madam is 3 months pregnant. Bae Yunj fell into a long silence. She looked at Song Yao. You're acting as the female lead? Song Yao shook her head. I'm acting as the White Lotus, the male lead's first girlfriend. Bae Yunj thought for a long time, and could only praise her. You have a future. Chapter 1150. Song Yao was speechless. Bae Yunj looked at Song Yao, who had no choice but to wear a cotton coat in the summer, and took a fan to fan Song Yao. I really think our sister Yao is quite good. Looking at Song Yao's tense face, Bae Yunj could not help but chuckle and coax her. Song Yao deliberately remained expressionless. You think I'm suitable to play the role of a White Lotus? Bae Yunj suppressed her smile and said sincerely, I think you're suitable to play the role of a first love. Indeed, Song Yao's temperament was too clean and she looked weak. It made people feel that she was not mainstream and could not play the role of the female lead. Therefore, she could usually only play the second female lead. The director beside her looked at the unbelievably beautiful girl and said something with a smile in Song Yao's ear, making Song Yao's ears turn red. The scene was so sweet that it was even more eye-catching than the scene of the male and female leads giving out candies. The director walked over and sighed. I'm Song Yao. Why don't you let your friend act with you to get the feeling? Just now, I asked you to act as a White Lotus who tries to please the male lead, but you acted like you don't love men. Do you think you're worthy of your face? Song Yao was speechless. However, Bae Yunj had her head lowered. What are you laughing at? Song Yao was a little angry, and bumped Bae Yunj's shoulder lightly. Bei Yunj leaned on Song Yao's shoulder and laughed until her shoulders trembled slightly. Bei Yunj leaned back lazily, her tone sounding quite sad. If it wasn't for those beautiful eyes that were curled up and attractive. Tian, you're treating me too badly. No one knew if she was complaining or acting coquettishly. This was too ostentatious. The stage supervisor's eyes lit up, and they almost howled. What kind of damn beautiful love was this? She hit it. Could this be the legendary restless gold tulip who gave Song Yao a branded watch? But she was too good to Sister Song Yao. She was not impatient with Song Yao at all. Instead, she acted coquettishly. The director glanced at the male and female leads who were acting not far away, then at Bei Yunj, who was leaning against Song Yao's shoulder. His feelings were indescribable. He had lost. Yesterday, when they were filming the kissing scene for the male and female leads, the stage assistant's eyes were also empty and lifeless. But now, the stage assistants, who had stayed up the entire day filming the scenes last night, saw the two of them leaning against each other today, and their eyes started to light up. Bei Yunj respected Song Yao's acting career and helped her practice her lines. For some reason, Song Yao got into the zone very easily. She was shy in a daze, and when she was patted on the head, she didn't say anything. She wasn't a disgusting green tea, but a genuine first love. This feeling is too right. The director was a little surprised and couldn't help but glance at Bei Yunj. It had to be said that Bei Yunj's aura was really strong. Although she was a girl, it was inappropriate for her to say such sweet words to a scumbag. On the contrary, it made people want to fall in her hands and crazily want to date her. This face is too confusing. Is it a newcomer? The scriptwriter next to him could not help but sigh. Director, why don't you consider giving them a socialist sisterly relationship? I think it'll explode. The director was speechless. Can King afford it? The watches she gave Song Yao are worth tens of millions. She's that mysterious sugar daddy? The scriptwriter had a look of disbelief and excitement on his face as he said, I've actually hit the mark. Chapter 1151. When they were almost done, the director hurriedly went over and said, Song, didn't you act quite well? Why can't you match Wang Kai? The moment Song Yao thought of Wang Kai, who was the male lead, her eyebrows twitched and she suppressed the nausea in her stomach. Every time they filmed, Wang Kai liked to take advantage of Song Yao when they were acting together. Bei Yunj also saw Song Yao's expression that quickly disappeared, but she did not say anything. Suddenly, a rather handsome man walked over. However, when paired with what he thought was his most handsome expression, he looked a little oily. Director, is the next scene between me and Yao Yao? This nickname was so ambiguous that Bei Yunj's gaze turned cold. She looked up and glanced at Wang Kai calmly. Suddenly she asked, What is this? The male lead? Wang Kai's face froze. When he saw Bei Yunj beside Song Yao, his heart was itching. He did not know where Song Yao got such a beautiful friend from. However, before he could show off in front of Bei Yunj, he heard Bei Yunj ask this. Those who did not know better would think that he was a plaything. Wang Kai, come. I'll bring you to meet Song Yao's sugar daddy, my friend. The director immediately pulled Wang Kai and teased him on purpose. The director was a discerning person. It was obvious that he did not want Wang Kai to have a conflict with Bei Yunj here. He was indirectly telling Wang Kai not to provoke Bei Yunj. Wang Kai could only give a fake smile. Hello, I'm the male lead of this drama, Wang Kai. Bei Yunj only looked up halfway. Half of her half-smiling eyes seemed to be soaked in the shadows under the tree. Her aura already made people feel unapproachable. Hello, I don't like others to get close to Miss Song Bei Yunj. Song Yao was speechless. The director was speechless. The production crew almost went crazy. They could not suppress their excitement. F***ck, this greeting is so good, sister. It's amazing. Wang Kai is too pitiful. His aura was crushed. Where did Song Yao's sugar daddy get it? I want the same design. Are any sisters willing to try it? Wang Kai held it in, and could only give a sullen smile. Miss Pei, you really know how to joke. Bei Yunj tilted her head back and finished drinking the water. Then, she casually twisted the bottle of mineral water into strips and casually threw them into the trash can. She smiled lazily and said, "Really? I can't take any provocation. I'll send anyone who touches her to the hospital. Why don't you try?" As soon as he finished speaking, the mineral water bottle was smashed into the trash can. It caused everyone to tremble. At this time, the atmosphere around them had turned cold. When everyone saw Bae Yunja's irritation and half-smile in her eyes, they suddenly woke up. The big boss didn't act coquettishly to everyone. Other than Song Yao, perhaps everyone else would only be beaten up. Song Yao tugged at Bae Yunja's clothes from the side, and Bae Yunja's face became slightly warmer. "Don't scare me." Song Yao could not help laughing, and stuffed a candy into Bae Yunja's mouth. "Peel it yourself. My hands are dirty." Seeing this, just as everyone thought that the big boss would be angry, because Song Yao treated her so casually, Bae Yunj really picked up the lychee-flavored lollipop and peeled it slowly. However, before anyone could be surprised, they saw Bae Yunj call out to someone. Song Yao turned around instinctively, wanting to ask something, but Bae Yunj suddenly stuffed the candy into Song Yao's mouth. She snorted lazily. "Who are you trying to coax? P.S. Good night." Chapter 1152. F***CK. Her defense was broken. Everyone was caught off guard by this handful of candy. Was she happy to spread candy in front of them like this? However, Wang Kai's expression was extremely dark. He was extremely unwilling to let a woman steal his limelight. "Xiao Kai, take it easy." The director patted his shoulder, and Wang Kai could not say anything else. For the entire afternoon, Bae Yunj was watching Song Yao's show. The gaze of death landed on Wang Kai, so much so that Wang Kai did not even dare to touch Song Yao. He was afraid that Bae Yunj would come up and twist his neck like she had twisted the mineral water bottle just now. After filming, Bae Yunj had planned to leave with Song Yao, but she heard that the production team had made a last-minute arrangement. According to Song Yao's explanation, a friend of the director was organizing an esports livestream and had arranged for a professional player to compete with a popular production team. However, on that day, more than half of the actors in the production team, who had signed a contract, had left. Therefore, Song Yao's director wanted to take advantage of the loopholes and gain popularity for the production team. "It's a good thing. Everyone cheer up and perform well later," the director said excitedly. Bae Yunj stood by the side, pressing her fingers against her thumb as she narrowed her pretty eyes at the director. The director's smile suddenly froze, and he felt that his life was threatened. Song Yao's sugar daddy's temper did not seem to be too good. "It should be in an hour. After the fight, I'll accompany you to buy desserts. I still have the chocolate I bought for you in my car last time." With that said, the director felt that the danger was gradually disappearing. "I don't really eat such sweet things either," Bae Yunj said. I really can't eat it. Do me a favor." Song Yao casually found an excuse for Bae Yunj. Indeed, when they arrived at the scene, the production crew saw Bae Yunj carrying a bag of snacks and walking to the first row happily with her hands in her pockets. The production crew asked hesitantly, Song, this person usually has a bad temper, right?" Song Yao smiled. "Occasionally, when I don't have time to care about her, she will throw a tantrum. She's usually very easy to coax." The production crew was speechless. Was there something wrong with her mind? Why was she getting more and more worked up? Not long after, the audience arrived and the live broadcast began. As expected, the audience did not see the lead actor of the popular film crew and began to complain. The netizens in the live broadcast room were even more exasperated. It was only when the camera swept past and they saw Song Yao's face that some people were comforted. "Is it Song Yao? Was it Song Yao? I'm shocked. When did she join the cast? She seems to be the second female lead from the Forbidden CO X Love crew next door. The two crews are competing together? Isn't this deliberately creating traffic for lay drama? Song Yao's face is too limited. She can't act as the female lead at all. Forget it, my younger sister is also a goddess. I'll give her a challenge, as long as she's not too weak." "Are you crazy? Why do you have to invite a bunch of entertainers to compete? Don't try to scam the esports industry." "Don't say that. Wang Kai is great at gaming. He used to be a youth trainee in Team RS, but he quit because his family didn't let him. Hearing this, the others were a little expectant. The esports fans were too lazy to turn on their microphones. They only paid attention to the two esports teams behind, hoping to see them PK. However, the camera flashed past, and a sharp-eyed veteran esports fan suddenly stared at the girl in the first row wearing a mask and staring at a paper bag. The girl in the first row looks a little familiar. I think I've seen her somewhere before. Chapter 1153. Did I see wrongly? The veteran esports fan sent a message hesitantly, thinking that no one would reply. Then someone replied silently. I think I saw it too. Is it Billion God? Soon, the conversation between the veteran esports fans was rushed up, and the other esports fans did not notice their conversation. And the netizens who came to join in the fun did not know who Billion God was. Wang Kai's wife is so handsome. Brother Kai's comic is tearing her apart. Faced with the brainless praises of this group of fans, the rest of the fans turned off their microphones in order not to attract criticism. However, the esports fans could not stand it anymore. Do you have eyes? Song Yao is sitting beside you. Who are you calling a beauty? Song Yao's fans are only of this standard? Even a senior wants to scam her? Are all fans like this now? She's ugly and greasy to begin with, but they don't even let people say it. Are you crazy? Are Song Yao's fans so bold? How could Song Yao be scolded like that by you? Song Yao's fans, who were watching the screen, were speechless. Oh, everyone still remembered the fight between Song Yao's fans and Wang Kai's fans a few days ago. However, because Song Yao had few fans, Song Yao was scolded very badly by Wang Kai's fans. Words like chasing girls, green tea bitches seducing their brothers, get out of the entertainment industry flooded Song Yao's comment section. However, Song Yao had always been in a good mood and did not care much. She did not tell Bei Yunji either. Some passers-by felt their hearts ache, especially when they found out that Song Yao had been preparing for the college entrance examination. Although Song Yao had a pure and innocent face, she had never caused trouble and did not like to talk to male actors from the same crew. As a result, the fans suspected that Song Yao was not interested in men. Until some time ago, the paparazzi took a photo of Wang Kai hugging Song Yao. Song Yao was scolded until she lost 2 endorsements that she had signed with much difficulty. The preparations for the competition. Wang Kai seemed to be finally able to hold his head high. He smiled confidently and did not forget to glance at Bei Yunji, who was not far away, with a disdainful expression. After that, Wang Kai borrowed an account from an esports player he was close to and logged into the competition venue. It was a hot topic. F***CK. Brother Kai is using HK Team Kaka's account. They actually know each other? Wang Kai is indeed awesome just by looking at his appearance. He actually managed to borrow Kaka's account. The esports fans commented from the side, and Wang Kai's fans did not forget to step on Song Yao. Song Yao is so good at sticking to others. Did she stick to any esports player? Get someone to give her an account. Confused. Are you Wang Chong fans sick? It's none of your business whose account Song Yao borrowed. I'm dying of laughter. Song Yao's fans have such foul mouths. Who said that they are Wang Kai's fans? Don't randomly give me your fan status. Under the discussion, Wang Kai even asked Song Yao generously, do you know any professional players? If he used his private account, it was unlikely that he would be able to PK him. It's okay if you don't have it, I can. Private accounts are good too. Thank you. Song Yao only thanked him casually. After a while, she suddenly remembered something. The last time she begged Bei Yunji to help her level up, Bei Yunji even secretly changed her ID. Her name was especially coquettish, Master Pei's little fairy. Song Yao was speechless. Soon, Bei Yunji, who was in the first row, received Song Yao's message. Sister Yao Yunji? Sister Yao, do you have an account for me? Bei Yunji reacted for a moment before she remembered what she had done last time. The moment Bei Yunji looked up, she saw Song Yao looking at her expressionlessly. Chapter 1154. Bei Yunji immediately replied. Yunji, yes. Bei Yunji handed her account and password to Song Yao. At this moment Wang Kai, who had been rejected, laughed coldly and crossed his arms, waiting for Song Yao to make a fool of herself. The other actresses in the production team asked the esports players on the spot to borrow an account. Only Song Yao was extremely arrogant. He wanted to see what kind of low-level account Song Yao was going to take out. Song Yao still didn't know what account she had, and had never played with Bei Yunj. However, under Wang Kai's dazzling display, the other people in the production team borrowed the accounts of some small teams, and were not eye-catching. Everyone was not interested. In the next moment, Song Yao logged in according to her account and password. Suddenly, the special entrance effect of a full-level account appeared on the screen. Because the venue was meticulously prepared, it was almost a half-projected 3D scene. It was cool and shocking. Welcome, earn 100 million first to the team competition. Many people who did not know this nickname subconsciously looked at the win rate. Win rate, 100%. A full-level account actually had a 100% win rate. Everyone's hair stood on end. F***CK. I'm not dreaming. A full-level big boss? Kaka doesn't seem to have reached the maximum level yet. F***CK. 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 It's 100 million God's account. It's 100 million God. Song Yao is awesome. Someone can F***king get 100 million God's account? How did they do it? At this time, Wang Kai's fans made a few sour remarks at the wrong time. TSK, the tea master is amazing. How else can you get it? You can just go to bed. However, as soon as these words fell, the effect was far beyond everyone's imagination. Although 100 million God's fans were casual, they had a surprisingly large base and immediately defeated Wang Kai's fans. Looking at your brother's dissected face every day, did you get high? Who doesn't know that my 100 million God is a girl? Ha 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 ha. 100 million God. If your brother wants to get the number he loves, he can only get to Neely. Don't be offended by my noble and cold 100 million God. Thank you. F***CK. In order to get 100 million God's account, did you make it real? Cold and lofty God chasing after his wife? I've already come up with a novel about forbidden love. It's much better than that CEO's forbidden love. Don't knock anymore, knock more. 18th tier little white flower female star X popular esports god. If Sister Yao can get Ishan to come out for a competition today, I'm willing to grit my teeth and watch her drama to the end. That way, I'll be able to offer a meager viewership rating. Plus 10086. This was the first time Wang Yifan had been scolded into silence. She clearly realized that this billion deity was an existence that could not be provoked. Although many people on the internet didn't like to be a couple, they could tell that Ishan might really have a good relationship with Song Yao. Otherwise, he wouldn't have borrowed her account. Therefore, he turned a blind eye to the couple's behavior. However, the situation was out of control. What's the situation? Song, where did you get a max level account? The female lead beside her was also stunned. Song Yao was speechless. She did not expect that Bei Yunj would give her a max level account. It was even, earn 100 million first, which was currently popular in the esports industry. Song Yao did not dare to look up at Bei Yunj. She only saw from the corner of her eye that Bei Yunj was sleeping while avoiding the camera. However, she could not sleep well because the screams in the venue were rising and falling. Ah, it's 100 million God. I'm going crazy. No one thought that an ordinary esports celebrity show would be able to get hold of 100 million God's account. Chapter 1155. Sister Yao is awesome. Someone below the stage shouted excitedly. Song Yao, who was unaware of the situation, was speechless. Sister Yao, please let Billion God out for a competition. Sister Yao, has Billion God stayed at your house? Someone suddenly asked. In the end, someone started to kick up a fuss. Song Yao was speechless. Not only did he stay at my house, he was even sitting in the first row to watch the competition. Sister Yao, pull Billion God out for a competition. I'm willing to watch your new drama 10 times. I'll open 10 computers for you to watch. I can book an internet cafe for you to watch. At this moment, everyone in the production team finally realized what top-tier popularity was. However, Wang Kai's expression was extremely ugly. He never thought that Song Yao would get Billion God's account. Someone in the livestream reacted. I think I saw Billion God just now. He's in the front row. Me too. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Everyone begged the cameraman in the livestream to take pictures of the first row. Unfortunately, the cameraman did not watch the livestream. Billion God's fans were so angry that they howled. At this moment, the director was also confused. Who is Billion God? The screenwriter rolled his eyes. A super godly esports big shot. Although he doesn't play much, he's very popular and is comparable to Almighty Qin. Besides, Billion God's popularity overseas is much higher than in China. She's the top player in Continent K. She's that good. The director was shocked. The screenwriter laughed coldly. Let me tell you, if Song Yao comes out of the closet one day, she'll say that she's with Billion God. Do you believe that this godly drama of yours will explode 360 degrees? The director was speechless. On stage, the two teams of esports players opposite were also silent. F***CK, Billion God's account. Who dared to move? Can we still play? Someone asked carefully and hesitantly. If they did something to Song Yao, would Billion God activate the maps of the gods overnight and chase after them with a knife? These words were recorded, but no one in the live stream blamed the contestant for wanting to go easy on them. Ha 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 ha, Sister Yao has become a god. She has Billion God behind her. You can't blame the contestant. Billion God is famous for protecting his people, ha ha. Don't be afraid, brother. Go and cut down Billion God's win rate now. Then, start the live stream and let Billion God kill you. The live stream will definitely. Do you understand the code of wealth? That's the money you earn from licking your wounds. Damn, the sisters above are so ruthless. Ha ha. Now that I think about it, I think Billion God is spoiling girls. Who would be willing to borrow a 100% win rate? Finally, the match began. Even the organizers did not expect that the live stream was almost paralyzed. Thus, they discussed having the pro players and artists mix and match. They could also ask for outside help. Hearing this, everyone started to contact external help. The person Wang Kai invited was Xiaoji, which attracted a lot of attention. But after all, the 100 million god had appeared before them, so they weren't that surprised. However, Song Yao was hesitating. She did not want Bai Yunj to owe someone a favor for her. However, not long after, suddenly, someone sent her a message, and a dialogue box appeared on the screen. HK Team Yoi, this person from Ishan's family? Do you need external help? How about me? Everyone was shocked. Wasn't this the captain of HK Team? However, before they could calm down, another big shot came to ask. RS Team Daicheng. Miss Song Yao, do you need external help? I can take you flying too, next. Song Yao was pulled into the group chat. It was filled with the top big shots in the industry. RS Team Jian brothers don't fight. There are several competitions. Everyone is here to gain face with Billion God. There's no need to make things so awkward, right? P.S. Good night. End of this chapter. Chapter 1156. When the other players saw the ferocious comments in the Big Shots group, they were even more shocked. They were already big shots at this level. Didn't they think of being human? And each of them even went to Ishan to show their faces? The live stream was also laughing so hard that they almost stopped breathing. I really didn't expect my big boss, Jian, to become a lackey captain one day. Why do I feel like laughing so much? F***CK, the big boss is playing with her? What kind of dream is this of a billion esports fans? Boo-hoo, Yao Yao has done well. She actually got Ishan. I'm going crazy, I'm going crazy. Yao Yao suddenly turned into a queen and chose a big boss to play with. Ishan, if you pamper people so much, you'll really fall into the hands of a woman. You'll fall into the hands of a woman. Ha 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 ha, I'm convinced. This made Wang Kai's fans so angry that their hearts hurt. Indeed. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai's fans turned off their microphones. Even Song Yao's manager, who was waiting in the RV, accidentally clicked on Song Yao's personal account and found that something was wrong. It was still 10.5 million yesterday, but now it had risen to 16 million. And it was still breaking through. It had only been a few hours. Song Yao's manager reacted and immediately clicked into the comments section, where Song Yao had been scolded badly. She did not expect the situation to change, and the hot comments to be about Song Yao and Yi Shun. What's the relationship between Song Yao and Yi Shun? Song Yao's manager was still confused, scrolling down to read the comments. Not only were there happy comments from Yi Shun's fans, but there were also Wang Kai's fans who had come to scold Song Yao previously. They were torn apart by Yi Shun's fans and did not dare to retort. Yi Shun's friendship, love, will be protected by us. No. Sister Yao, please do me a favor and let Yi Shun come out to play a competition. I haven't seen Father Yi for a long time. Boo-hoo. This person from Yi Shun's family seduced your brother? A C-list celebrity is also trying to seduce my top esports girl? Confused, Song Yao's manager's eyes were unfocused. She suddenly felt that this world had become unfamiliar. At the same time, on stage, with the big boss leading them, the team members who had teamed up with Song Yao were indeed winning. However, what they did not expect was that halfway through the competition, Dai Cheng and Kaka were fighting. She did not know what Wang Kai was thinking, but he was chasing after Song Yao. Although Song Yao's skills were not bad, she was indeed not as good as Wang Kai, who had almost entered the second team. Billion God's chances of winning were cut down. The viewers in the livestream were heartbroken, and they were all scolding Wang Kai. What's wrong with Wang Kai? Why is he chasing after Yao Mei? No way, no way. Hacking Yi Shun's account can satisfy his pleasure? Esports fans were more or less biased. After all, in their hearts, Yi Shun was an unparalleled big shot, just like Almighty Qin. Especially when she saw Wang Kai apologizing with a greasy smile while hitting Song Yao. So what if you're 100 million gods? Not even a little touch. Those who play esports can't even afford it. What a joke. Who is the one who can't afford to play? You don't dare to provoke other esports players. Is it very impressive to chase after female celebrities? After the competition, it was easy for Dai Cheng to crush Kaka, but Song Yao was also tortured badly. According to the points, Song Yao's team lost this round. Song Yao, follow me later, Dai Cheng said indifferently. Song Yao smiled faintly. No need. If she followed Dai Cheng would take people's heads to destroy the tower and protect her. She would lose this round even more. Dai Cheng said nothing. When the next round started, Dai Cheng tried his best to control the time and kill Kaka as soon as possible. Chapter 1157. However, Dai Cheng was also a little angry. He wanted to kill Wang Kai first, but Kaka kept pestering him. It seemed like the two of them weren't trying to win, but they were trying to increase Billion God's win rate. He did not know who they were trying to disgust, and Billion God's mission for them was to win with Song Yao. Seeing that Billion God's win rate had dropped to 99%, Billion God's fans almost exploded. However, the people in the first row only looked at the screen calmly. Song Yao's team still had a high chance of winning. It was currently 2-1. Song Yao, if you can't do it, come and hide with me. Dai Cheng did not forget to tell Song Yao. Song Yao responded, and could only deal with Wang Kai, who was sticking to her. But 10 minutes later, no one expected Song Yao to suddenly use a skill when Wang Kai was not paying attention, and the two of them ended the competition together. F*CK, she's not bad. She's a little familiar with Billion God. With an innocent and harmless face, she did the most ruthless thing. She's indeed someone who was taught by Billion God. Yes, after all, Wang Kai was a trainee before. It's already good that he managed to draw. Sigh, I was originally a passerby fan of Wang Kai, but now his actions are disgusting. In this round, Song Yao actually did not have an easy time, and Wang Kai's expression was a little ugly. It was obvious that he did not expect Song Yao to play this move so recklessly. However, with Song Yao getting rid of Wang Kai, Dai Cheng still won. The venue was filled with cheers. Sister Yao is so strong. Someone shouted to cheer Song Yao on. Seeing this, the people in the first row, who were pulling their hats to cover their eyes, unconsciously smirked lazily and mouthed two words to Song Yao, not bad. Song Yao was a little embarrassed. As for the others, many of them still felt their hearts ache when they saw the soft girl perish together. So suddenly, someone shouted at the top of his lungs, "Billion God, can you do it or not? Are you going to watch your wife be tortured?" Bei Yunj was speechless. Then, the originally angry atmosphere was instantly amused and became much more harmonious. No one was sure if Billion God was present. They just wanted to trick him. However, what no one noticed was that a few minutes later, the people in the first row lazily put on their jackets, lowered their caps, and walked towards the door. Song Yao glanced in the direction Bei Yunj had left in and didn't think much about it. She prepared to rest for a while before playing the next round. Backstage. Song, I'm a fan of 100 Million Gods. Can I get 100 Million Gods' contact number? The female lead asked excitedly. Song Yao hesitated. I'll go back and ask. Oh really? Thank you Song. The female lead's eyes lit up. When the others heard this, they immediately rushed forward to ask about it. Song Yao was tight-lipped and knew how to protect Bei Yunj's identity. She smiled gently and changed the topic quietly, until he returned to the stage. Originally, Jian had rushed to go on stage and wanted to lead Song Yaofei. However, just before they formed a team, Song Yao suddenly saw a message request. User XCYGY requests to join the team battle. It was an account with no level. Before Song Yao could react, there were already excited screams from below the stage. 100 Million Gods. Song Yao regained her senses and found that the first letter was the spelling of earn 100 million first. The live stream exploded. F*CK. Is 100 million gods really present? Isn't this spelling of 100 million gods? Ha 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 ha. Then isn't Wang Kai done for? Chapter 1158. Are Wang Kai's fans ready? I'm going to die. Billion God is really here. Sob. The woman at the top of the food chain in the esports scene. More and more people were watching the live stream. Even #Song Yao #Billion God hashtag had rushed to the top of the trending searches. Then, half of the esports scene had mobilized to watch Billion God's live stream competition. Wang Kai's expression was ugly, and his hand holding the mouse trembled weakly. Even if he had left the industry, he knew Billion God's status in the industry. But, was it really Billion God? At this moment, Song Yao also hesitated for a moment before sending a message to XCYGY. Where are you? After typing this sentence, Song Yao deleted it and sent another sentence. What's wrong with you? The people in the live stream were scratching their lungs as they looked at the dialogue box. In the internet cafe, Bei Yunj casually threw her jacket to the side and threw the plastic bag to the side, typing slowly. I have to be good. I can't watch my family get beaten up. The moment this message was sent, Song Yao could almost imagine this person's nonsensical look. However, because Bei Yunj was responding to what she had just said, there was another wave of excited screams. Did Billion God know how to joke in private? However, in everyone's eyes, when Billion God got together with a soft girl like Song Yao, it was like Billion God was bullying Sister Yao every day. But it was actually a little flirtatious. Song Yao gathered her thoughts and glanced at the others. She asked politely, can she be external help? Everyone was speechless. This was like a F*King 360-degree spiral into the sky, alright. However, there were also people who were worried. Billion God has created a new account. Isn't the difference in levels too big? There's no need to look down on her. After all, Kaka is still very good. Billion God's actions are a little funny. Then Song Yao connected the microphone. She tried to ask, is the new account okay? However, the voice on the other end that had been adjusted with a voice changer sounded. You can't say that I can't. Song Yao was speechless. The live stream was dying of laughter. Ha 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 ha. Billion God is making a public scandal. Report it. Sister Yao. I'm speechless. Song Yao's eyelid twitched. She was a little worried that Bei Yunj would lose her reputation in this round. I'm serious. There are professional players on the other side too. That person's languid voice rang out. Do you still need to see who the other party is before you come here to cause trouble? After saying this, the atmosphere immediately exploded. HHHHHHHH, my Ishan Shui is cracking. It's burning. I'm Ishan. The competition was about to begin. Wang Kai took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He didn't believe that someone could use a Smurf account to compete with a pro player who was close to max level. Thinking of this, Wang Kai also stared at Bei Yunj, a strange light flashing in his eyes. As long as he could kill Billion God in this round, he would definitely attract a lot of attention. He could even get the company to buy trending searches and trample on the worshipped billion-dollar god, gaining more attention and popularity. Meanwhile, compared to Dai Chung and the rest who were present just now, Song Yao ran to Bei Yunj's side very naturally. Ha 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 ha. Sister Yao is cozying up to him openly. She was still cold to God Dai just now. Now that Billion God is back, Sister Yao changed. I don't believe that there's nothing fishy about this. Seeing Song Yao using Billion God's account to ask for the protection of a level 0 account, the scene was inexplicably funny. Chapter 1159. When Wang Kai saw this scene, he sneered. He was operating his character to deal with the others nearby first. But 3 minutes later, XCYGY easily got the first kill of Kaka. The strongest esports player in the team was as easy as cutting a cabbage in this person's hands. It made the other opponent's hair stand on end. F***CK. What kind of walking head harvester was this? F***CK. 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 The first kill of Kaka, who is almost at the maximum level in 3 minutes? Is he F***king cheating? Billion God's basic operation. Sit down. Ha 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 ha. Billion God YYDS. Billion God. That's it? Okay, everyone can watch what it means to really bring a girl to play. We've earned it, we've earned it. A celebrity can actually see Billion God. Following that, what was displayed on the screen was a level 0 account slowly harvesting heads. It looked like there was no pressure at all. It was as if the battlefield was her home ground. As for everyone, they were so shocked that their blood was boiling when they saw Billion God's operation. This was a true level 0 account crushing the entire field and beating them with her strength. But soon, everyone realized the problem. The last person left was Wang Kai, the warrior who had chased after Song Yao in the previous 2 rounds. Wang Kai was so nervous that his hand holding the mouse was sweating. At this moment, after Bei Yunj finished the last hit, he turned to look at Wang Kai. He asked slowly, "Friend, I heard that you're very good at killing people?" Wang Kai was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. His mind was in a mess and his back turned cold. Obviously, Billion God was here to support Song Yao. Ha 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 ha, Billion God. It's too obvious that you're holding a grudge. Light an incense for warrior Wang Kai. It's been a long time since someone was remembered by Billion God like this. I actually got to eat Billion God's candy in my lifetime. Then Bei Yunj threw away the weapon with great lethality and casually picked up a low-level weapon. Wang Kai gritted his teeth and made up his mind. He planned to fight it out with Bei Yunj like Song Yao. No matter what, it was a slap to Billion God's face. However, what he did not expect was that Bei Yunj's maneuvering was even faster. After one move, he was left with low HP and was unable to use high-level skill points. Kaka, who was watching from the side, felt his scalp go numb. He remembered the half a minute when Bei Yunj destroyed his team. Billion God was still Billion God. He was not human at all. What's the rush? You're not in a hurry to die. Bei Yunj's tone was leisurely, as if he was teasing her, but there was no warmth in his voice. Next, everyone saw that Bei Yunj had only dealt a small amount of damage to Wang Kai. This wasn't a killing, it was a mental attack. Bei Yunj only spared Wang Kai in such a big public place. He slowly cut him down bit by bit. On the other side, Wang Kai's face alternated between red and green. His hands gripped the keyboard, and his whole body trembled with anger. The fans in the livestream also began to curse. What does Billion God mean? Just because he was a pro player, he dared to humiliate an artist like this? Do you have any manners? Confused. Isn't this a little too intolerant? Was this how the almighty of the esports scene felt? You are openly targeting Wang Kai. However, Billion Gods fans had long been displeased with Wang Kai because his win rate had been cut. Is the person chasing after Song Yao a dog? Confused? You don't have to care about the esports scene. When Billion God was fighting for the country, your brother was probably still repairing his face in the factory. It's good that you know this is the esports scene. Here, noobs are the original sin. P.S. Good night. Can I get some monthly votes from the little kid today? Chapter 1160. Most of Wang Kai's fans did not know how many fans Yishen had. However, at this moment, seeing Yishen's fans flooding the livestream, they felt at a loss. They knew that they had provoked a big shot. Then Bai Yunj slowly hacked for more than 10 minutes before he completely sent Wang Kai away. It was a crushing victory. In the next round, Bai Yunj repeated the operation again. Wang Kai was so angry that he almost threw his mouse and left, but the director immediately stopped him and persuaded him. If his relationship with Yishen really became strained, it would be impossible for him to establish an esports persona in the future. Wang Kai took a deep breath and could only endure it. Someone in the livestream could not help but sigh. Yishen is really arrogant. There's no choice. Many people like him. It's human nature to admire the strong. When Yishen was playing professionally, even his opponent's boss came to support Yishen. This is top-notch status. Yishen is lawless. Yishen is lawless plus 10,086. You're so lousy, yet you blame your girlfriend for dragging you down. Come and take a good look. Yishen is leading the entire team alone. To be honest, it feels so good to be led by Yishen. As long as the girl is hurt, Yishen will cripple her. This esports friendship is damn sweet. After 3 rounds, Wang Kai's expression was ugly, and he went straight to Song Yao's lounge to apologize to her. Song Yao raised her eyebrows in surprise. Then, she saw Bai Yunj leaning against the door from the corner of her eye. Got it. You can go back. Song Yao replied politely and politely. After Wang Kai left, she was silent for a moment. You, Yishen. Song Yao also played maps of the gods and knew what kind of big shot Yishen was in the esports scene. However, she never thought that Yishen would be by her side. He was even willing to help her level up without any complaints. Bai Yunj rubbed the back of his fair neck and did not meet Song Yao's gaze. I think so. Song Yao was speechless. The atmosphere fell silent again. If you tell me one day that you are, I might not be surprised, Song Yao said slowly. It was hard to tell if she was angry. Bai Yunj was speechless. Song Yao had always been very interested in her. The reason was none other than because she had been the person who had recommended her. If Bai Yunj had not stopped her, Song Yao might have wanted to learn computing and be closer to him. Bai Yunj hummed and quickly changed the topic. Wait a moment. My brother is coming to find me. Song Yao did not need to think to know which brother it was. However, Bai Yunj still asked, shall we have a meal together? Song Yao was speechless. We'll see. If your brother comes, you can leave with him first. Song Yao really thought so, but Bai Yunj stayed because she did not know if Song Yao was angry just now. After the competition, Bai Yunj also sat in the first row with her eyes closed. She crossed her arms lazily and was about to fall asleep. Song Yao had just sat on Bai Yunj's left when she realized that there was a man sitting on Bai Yunj's right. Under the dim lights, the man's pale-colored eyes were emotionless, but his outstanding looks made people unable to look away. He looked at Bai Yunj, who was beside her, with a lazy expression. His well-defined hand was carrying the bag of snacks for Bai Yunj. Bai Yunj's hand was still hooked around the plastic bag, and she did not realize that the weight was wrong. Suddenly, Bai Yunj leaned his head towards Song Yao. He leaned on her shoulder steadily. Song Yao felt Huashida's gaze shift. In the next moment, Song Yao reached out her index finger and gently tapped Bai Yunj's forehead, pushing it in the opposite direction. Bai Yunj leaned on the man's shoulder again. Chapter 1161. Song Yao tugged at her cloak and left silently. It was only then that the people around noticed that a handsome and dignified man had suddenly appeared. He had actually carried Song Yao's bad-tempered friend up. Everyone's eyes widened. Was this the official CP? Was this the official CP? In the man's arms, the girl, whose face could not be seen clearly, placed her slender and fair wrist lazily on the man's shoulder and looked up at him with sleepy eyes. Where are my snacks? Huashida laughed angrily. Singsu took them. The man exuded a faint and unique cold fragrance. There was also the smell of tobacco that had faded. It was gentle and voodoo. His warmth spread from his chest, making her heart throb uncontrollably. Bei Yunji's eyes were clouded, but a possessive emotion suddenly surged in her mind. She did not want Huashidu to hug someone else like this again. Bei Yunji rarely had such intimate contact with Huashidu, especially in public. Although she enjoyed the steadiness of this hug, she gradually woke up from her drowsiness. She looked up and saw the man's clean and well-defined jawline. His Adam's apple protruded sexily, and her heart beat faster unconsciously. Brother, you'd better put me down. Although Bei Yunji noticed that Sungsu's expression was numb and natural, she felt inexplicably awkward. For the first time, a certain someone, who was used to not being a person, felt guilty. Huashidu had always respected Bei Yunji's wishes, so he agreed. However, for some reason, Bei Yunji felt that the man's attitude towards her today was indifferent. Bei Yunji hesitated for a moment. She was about to go up and hold the sleeve of his suit, when the man avoided her intentionally. Bei Yunji was speechless. Did this D*MN man have eyes on the back of his head? However, in the next second, Bei Yunji received Song Yao's message and opened it. Sister Yao, your brother's gaze is too scary bitter. For the first time, Song Yao met death's gaze. Yunji, it's already the greatest respect for me if he doesn't go out and seduce others. Bei Yunji had always felt that Huashidu had a polite gentleness to everyone. To put it in layman terms, that D*MN man seemed to be attracted to everyone. Sister Sheikh, you're wrong. Little Sister Yao, if you keep this attitude, you'll be eaten by your brother until not even your bones are left. Although Song Yao didn't have much experience, it was her first time meeting a man like Huashidu. He looked like he didn't care about anything, but it seemed like only Bei Yunji was present. His gaze was always on her. Furthermore, when Bei Yunji leaned against her shoulder just now, Song Yao could almost feel how scary the man's gaze was. If she was a man, Song Yao had no doubt that Huashidu would cripple her. The corners of Bei Yunji's eyes twitched when she saw the message. What a mess. Sister Yao, don't treat a wolf like a puppy. There are differences between wolves and dogs. The way he looked at Bei Yunji was full of possessiveness. However, Bei Yunji still flirted with her every day. He wasn't afraid that he wouldn't have anything to regret when the time came. Song Yao's persuasion was meaningless. Bei Yunji, who had nothing to do every day and flirted with others, turned off her phone again. She looked at the man's slender and good-looking back for a while, and the smile on her lips was a little familiar. Before the man could react, he suddenly heard a soft sound from behind, accompanied by Bei Yunji's voice. The man turned around instinctively, but someone bumped into him. Chapter 1162. Huashidu instinctively reached out to hold her arm. When he looked up, he saw her looking at him with a smile. His tone was lazy. What are you doing? Are you trying to scam me? No. The corners of Bei Yunji's lips curled up as she stood on tiptoes to look at him. I'm touching you, brother. Beside him, Singsu's eyelid twitched. Miss Yunji's flirting skills were really not bad at all. However, it was obvious that something was wrong with Huashidu today. He was about to let go when Bei Yunji grabbed his hand tightly. The man stared at her for a while before he gave in, and let her hold his hand as they went downstairs. However, the moment they went downstairs, someone called Huashidu. Bei Yunji could only hear the man's low voice as he answered the person on the phone calmly. I'll look for you in a few days. Okay. The man didn't say anything, but Bei Yunji let go of Huashidu's hand and sat in the front passenger seat to wait for him. Huashidu looked at her from the corner of his eye. He was about to sit in the main driver's seat and bring Bei Yunji out for dinner. However, he saw Bei Yunji leaning against the car window, her fingertips tapping against the window as her beautiful eyes stared straight at him. The man was indeed the most eye-catching person in the crowd. Today, the man was wearing a black suit as usual, but he was wearing an azure cotton shirt inside. He loosened 2 buttons lazily to reveal his collarbone, making his skin look dazzling. As he spoke on the phone, he slowly glanced at her from the corner of his eyes. The way he raised his eyebrows was inexplicably sexy and flirtatious. Sit properly and behave yourself. Hoshida was obviously not talking to the person on the phone. He was talking to her. The person on the other end of the line was silent for a moment. In the next second, Bae Yunj suddenly smiled and stuck half of her body out of the car window. She leaned close to the man and raised an eyebrow, asking arrogantly, "Hoshida, who are you talking to?" Beside her, Sung Soo looked at Bae Yunj with the words, "I'm up to no good" written all over his face. Miss Pei was lawless. Yu Hanran was silent for a moment. That ancestor of yours? She even called Hoshidu by his full name. She was really spoiled by Hoshidu. The man chuckled and glanced at her. Yes, I'm not your ancestor. Just now, Yu Hanran was discussing asking Hoshidu to help persuade the 2 elders of the Yu family to arrange a blind date for Yu Manran. If this matter continued to brew, Yu Manran might really cut ties with the Yu family. Bae Yunj felt that the other party had mentioned her on the phone, so she silently prepared to retreat. But in the next moment, "Let's talk next time. I still have something to do," Hoshidu said casually, and hung up the phone. He then hugged her slender waist again. It easily fixed the person in place. He couldn't retreat even if he wanted to. Hoshidu threw his phone into his pocket. The corners of his seductive eyes curled up. Bae Yunj could also feel the man's fingers rubbing against her waist inch by inch. It was extremely ambiguous. "You want to go back without doing anything? Are you a tortoise?" Bae Yunj. From the corner of her eye, Bae Yunj could already feel the gazes of the people around her. "You." Bae Yunj's heart was beating like a drum. She was a little stiff. The corners of the man's thin red lips curled up. His low laughter carried an ambiguous heat as it landed on her ears. "You're so thin-skinned, little kid." Hoshida was in a good mood. He reached out and pinched the little girl's cheek. Pei Qian's face was burning red. Then, Hoshida held the car window with one hand and watched Bae Yunj sit back down before returning to the driver's seat. Chapter 1163. When Bae Yunj and Hoshida left, Song Yao was standing at the door and saw what had happened. Song Yao sighed softly. It was hopeless. Old Madame Ho was happy for an entire week that Bae Yunj was the top scholar in the country. However, not long after, everyone saw old Madame Ho happily wanting to bring Bae Yunj out. Beside him, Sung Soo wanted to say something but hesitated. In the past few days, Master Du had specially assigned work to accompany Miss Pei out to play. Grandma Yunyan doesn't have time. Hoshida hung up and turned to look at her. What do you mean? Gu or doesn't want to go out with me? With that said, old Madame Ho turned to look at Bae Yunj, wanting to get confirmation. Bae Yunj rubbed her long hair at the back of her head. She had always been very patient with the older generation. Not really. Look, Gu or wants to go out with me too. Old Madame Ho was very arrogant and disdainful. If she doesn't go out with me, what's the point of going out with a man like you? Hoshida was speechless. Auntie Meow's eyelids twitched. Usually, the old madam was very smart and knew not to let others abduct Miss Pei. Why was she so confused when Miss Pei finally finished her college entrance examination and could have a good time with Mr. Hua? Old madam, why don't you let Miss Pei accompany you for a while? Auntie Meow hurriedly said. No, I'm going to take Guer shopping to watch the concert today. I've already prepared the tickets. Old Madame Hua insisted. Bae Yunj's fingertips slowly rubbed the skin under her eyes. All right, when are we going out? Hearing this, old Madame Hua was overjoyed. Look, Guer is much more filial than you. Hoshida was speechless. Bae Yunj went upstairs to change her clothes. When she came down, she found that Hoshida was the only one in the living room. Brother, aren't you going to work overtime? Bae Yunj asked casually. The man hummed faintly. At this moment, Bae Yunj suddenly reacted. Could it be that Hoshida was not preparing to go to work and was planning to accompany her? Bae Yunj was speechless. Not long after, Bae Yunj sat on the edge of the sofa with one hand in front of him. She leaned into the man's ear and asked with a smile. Big brother, Will you pick me and Grandma up for dinner tonight? Huashidu could tell that the young lady was trying to coax him. He stretched out his hand lazily and pinched her chin. Suppressing the ripples in his eyes, he whispered in her ear, his voice slightly hoarse and seductive. You're not allowed to coax her later. Otherwise, she'll take you to the old mansion again. His child was good at everything, but he was used to the unreasonable behavior of the older generation. It was the first time Bei Yunj had seen Huashida suffer. She suppressed the smile on her face. Okay. Huashida looked at the girl who was in front of him. The faint fragrance on her body made one's imagination run wild. He could not help but rub his fingers against her lips and caress them ambiguously. Bei Yunj paused and heard him chuckle softly. Don't coax others. Coax me more. In the car. I say Shirdu is getting more and more petty. Isn't it just asking Gu to accompany me out to play? Why didn't he come out to send me off? Old Madame Ho muttered and turned around to ask, Gu, why don't you come to the old mansion with me after the concert? Sang Su, who was driving, was speechless. Didn't the old madam understand that if this continued, her family would be in danger? Chapter 1164. Hearing that it was Teacher Wen's voice, Bei Yunj was silent for a moment. No. Then you don't want to take a look? Teacher Wen hinted frantically. However, unexpectedly, the other party did not say anything at first. Not long after, she laughed lazily. Old Wen, there's no need to cast a lifetime of shadow over my dear classmates at such a happy age of 18, right? She was still the one who was arrogant. Teacher Wen, all the teachers in charge. Teacher Wen could not help but ask, are you really not afraid that you will not perform well? Bei Yunj was silent for a moment, and then used the base of her palm to gently press her closed eyes. Old Wen, I hope you understand that I have a high fever, not that my brain is fried. Teacher Wen. At this moment, the atmosphere became even more strange and cold. Finally, when he hung up the phone, Teacher Wen still hadn't recovered from the shock. He felt like he was floating, and Bei Yunj also got out of bed, ready to wash up. Downstairs, Old Master Qin was still drinking tea and playing cards with his mahjong partners. Old Su, don't you think that the National Politics University can build a few more buildings? Old Master Qin hinted frantically. Principal Su, what do you want to do? Something happened to my granddaughter in the college entrance examination. She had a high fever and didn't perform well. It was also the first time that Old Master Qin had shamelessly asked for help. After all, the universities that Qin Lu and the others went to were either Nili University or Yunqing University. No, absolutely not. Principal Su immediately refused. He wondered why this old fox asked him to play cards every day. After so many twists and turns, it turned out that he was waiting here. The University of Political Science and Law of a Nation was one of the top law schools in the country. As the principal, if he used his position for personal gain, wouldn't he be stepping on the reputation of the University of Political Science and Law and crazily testing the edge of danger? Principal Su rolled his eyes. As long as you can do it, don't make things difficult for me. The most I can do is to get you some privileges and points, but it won't be much. After that, Principal Su sensed that something was wrong again. No, I heard that the admissions team of Beichuan and Yunqing University specially went to look for your granddaughter. How could she not do well in the exam? As soon as he finished speaking, one of the two mahjong partners next to him pinched his thigh, and the other gave him a look to hint. Why didn't this old Su listen to any gossip? Sure enough, Old Master Qin was silent for a moment, then said lightly, Old Su, my granddaughter's name is Bei Yunj. You've been in Nili for the past 2 years, so you still don't know the situation. Hearing this, Principal Su immediately quietened down. After living for so long, who wouldn't be a smart person? As for the other two, they felt that it was a pity. Qin Yojia's excellence in all aspects back then was obvious to everyone in the circle. It was a pity that she was not the biological daughter of the Qin family. She lost because she did not reincarnate well. Suddenly, a voice from the other side of the door broke into their conversation. Dad, do you have to be so biased? Old Master Qin turned his head and found that it was Mother Qin. His face sank, and he was more or less on guard. What are you doing here? These few days. The last thing he wanted was for Mother Qin to appear at the old mansion and use Qin Youjiao's score to provoke Pei Yunj. After all, Mother Qin was Pei Yunj's biological mother. Old Master Qin was afraid that Pei Yunj would be upset. However, what Old Master Qin could think of was exactly what Mother Qin was thinking. However, the difference was that Mother Qin came this time to help Qin Youjiao regain her dignity. Jiao scored 736 points. I want to hold a banquet for her, and I hope you can come. Chapter 1165. Old Master Qin's face turned red with anger when he heard that. He pointed at Mother Qin, who was wearing a cheongsam embroidered with white orchids, and said with a trembling finger, "Why you don't have any conscience as a mother?" Everyone knew that Pei Yunj had gone to take the college entrance exam with a high fever. Even Father Qin had come to ask about it a few times, so it was impossible for Mother Qin to not know about it. But at this time, she was helping Qin Youjiao flaunt her strength. Mother Qin pursed her lips. Then she stubbornly sneered and said, "Dad, you're the one who's biased. If it wasn't for the fact that you don't care about Jiao's life, I wouldn't have done this. Jiao is the child who has been by my side for more than 10 years, but you only have Pei Yunj in your heart." Principal Su and the others felt a little awkward when they heard Old Master Qin and his daughter-in-law arguing on the spot. Old Master Qin was so angry that his heart ached. The mahjong players beside him hurriedly helped him to sit down. "I won't go. There's only one daughter in the Qin family," Old Master Qin said with a dark expression. Mother Qin's eyes burned with anger when she heard that. She sneered and glanced at the people beside her. "Even Principal Su is here. Dad, you're too biased. If Jiao didn't do well this time, would you be willing to find some connections for her?" "I wouldn't," Old Master Qin said expressionlessly. It wasn't just Qin Youjiao. Even if it was Qin Luyan and the others, if they didn't do well in the college entrance exam, Old Master Qin wouldn't find any connections for them, even if he wanted them to repeat their studies. However, Mother Qin's face still contorted when she heard this answer. However, the next moment, out of the corner of her eye, Mother Qin noticed that Pei Yunj had come down from upstairs. She suddenly smiled faintly and said, "Dad, is it because Pei Yunj did well in the exam that you didn't come to Jiao's banquet?" These words almost infuriated Old Master Qin. If it weren't for the fact that the men of the Qin family were taught not to hit women, he would have picked up his walking stick. "But don't worry, Dad. Even if you don't treat Jiao as your granddaughter, Jiao still wants to be filial to you. The phone number and address she left for her college entrance exam are also in our old mansion." Mother Qin smiled deliberately. "As a child of the Qin family, how can I embarrass the Qin family?" "You cough cough cough." Old Master Qin was so angry that he felt faint. "Grandpa." At this moment, Pei Yunj walked over to help Old Master Qin calm down. She had only heard a little of the conversation and asked unhurriedly, "What are you talking about?" "Nothing much." When Old Master Qin saw his granddaughter, his voice became much gentler. This surprised Principal Su and the others. One must know that Old Master Qin had never spoken to Qin Youjiao in such an affectionate tone. "This must be Yunj, right? How were your college entrance exam results?" The moment Principal Su spoke, he instinctively asked about her results. As a result, Old Master Qin's death stare fell on him. "Not bad." Pei Yunj's expression was natural. Principal Su couldn't help but ask, "How many points?" Pei Yunj replied, "I haven't checked yet." Old Master Qin was speechless. Principal Su and the mahjong players were speechless. This kind of self-confidence was indeed rare. Mother Qin couldn't help but scoff. She said sarcastically, "If it's not good, then it's not good. How good is it? Have you had enough?" Old Master Qin's voice was stern. Mother Qin's face turned pale, and she didn't continue speaking. Pei Yunj glanced at Mother Qin with interest and chuckled softly. Mother Qin felt inexplicably uncomfortable. Just as she was about to say something, someone came in from outside. It was the principals of Yin University and Beichuan University. P.S. There's still one more chapter. You guys go to sleep first. End of chapter. Chapter 1166. Excuse me, is this old Master Qin's house? The two principals had just arrived, and they were still slightly nervous. After all, they had met many outstanding candidates who came from well-to-do families. But this was the first time they met someone who came from such a well-to-do family. It was at least a few hundred meters from the entrance of the old mansion to the living room. However, when Mama Qin saw this, she thought that they were here to look for Qin Youjiao. She was somewhat flattered. Principal Xiang, Principal Tan, why are you here today? Didn't you call Jiaojia yesterday? When old Master Qin heard this, he thought that they were here to look for Qin Youjiao, and his face instantly darkened. He almost chased them away on the spot. Tong Yueying, I'm warning you, this is the last time. Old Master Qin's tone was sinister. This made the principals of Yinhua University and Beichuan inexplicably afraid. Surely not. Just because they did not call Pei Yunj yesterday, old Master Qin was already this angry? Old Master Qin, this matter is related to your biological granddaughter after all. You should calm down and listen to this. Am I her mother? Can't you talk to her mother? Old Master Qin's tone was extremely irritated. The principals of Yinhua University and Beichuan shrank their necks. This was indeed the family of the national top scholar. How arrogant. Then, Mrs. Qin, can we talk? The principal of Yinhua University smiled stiffly at Mama Qin. You're too kind to come here personally. I really don't know what to say. Mama Qin was very happy and smiled brightly. However, if Principal Xiang and Principal Tan are free, I wonder if you'd be willing to attend my daughter's banquet in a few days? Banquet? The principal of Yinhua University was stunned for a moment, but he quickly smiled again. Of course. It's only right. After all, she's the national top scholar. No matter what, we should celebrate. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Principal Su and the others subconsciously looked at Mama Qin and the others. National top scholar. There was actually a living national top scholar in their circle? However, Mama Qin's smile was slightly stiff. Top scholar? Principal Xiang, are you mistaken? My family is ranked second in Jiaojiao City, and only fourth in the country. Of course not. Halfway through his sentence, Senior Colonel Yin immediately sobered up. Wait, who told you it's classmate Qin? I'm talking about classmate Pei Yunj. Suddenly, the atmosphere fell into a dead silence. On the other hand, Principal Yun was still talking nonstop. I really didn't expect classmate Pei to score 749 points in the college entrance examination, despite the unprecedented level of difficulty. I heard that 1 point was deducted because he didn't finish his essay. Initially, the teachers who marked the papers wanted to deduct 2 or 3 points. But a senior teacher really liked classmate Pei's essay and was so angry that he decided to deduct 2 or 3 points. Hence, he sent it to the higher-ups for approval, and only 1 point was deducted. Guer scored 749 points. Old Master Qin was at a loss for words as he asked in disbelief. Principal Beichuan hesitated. You didn't even check the scores? Could this be the national top scholar's family? They were already so confident. Old Master Qin was speechless. What should he say? Not only did he not check the scores, but he was also helping his granddaughter get in through the back door. Principal Su was also silent. If he had agreed to let old Master Qin get in through the back door, would he have made a killing today? That can't be right. Su, you're from a politics and law school. How dare you snatch the top scholar from us? Principal Beichuan looked wary. Principal Su was speechless. You might not believe it, but I just rejected the backdoor application from the family of the college entrance examination's top scholar. P.S. Good night, good girls. Chapter 1167. Principal Su was expressionless, but his heart was numb. Shut up. Pei Yunj. Suddenly, Mother Qin seemed to lose her mind. She looked up at the principal of Yin University and denied it agitatedly. How is that possible? How could she be the top scorer in the national examination? She must have cheated. She must have cheated. However, her words caused the principals of several universities to look at her with disgust. How could the dignified Madam Chin say such things? As a mother, how could she be biased to this extent? It's not surprising that student Pei was the top scorer in the national examination. After all, she was also the top scorer in the previous joint examination. The principal of Yin University changed his attitude. Principal Bei Chuan, who was sitting beside him, rolled his eyes. Someone had posted on WeChat Moments that the heavens were jealous of geniuses after finding out that Pei Yunj was seriously ill. She was the top scorer in the joint examination. Principal Su looked shocked. Back then, before he returned to China, he heard this news and was shocked for a long time. After all, the difficulty of the examination paper was far beyond the standard of the National College Entrance Examination. But in the end, someone actually scored full marks. All of a sudden, Principal Su looked at Old Master Chin with a complicated expression. His face was even a little distorted. Good Lord. So this was what this old fox meant when he said that she did not do well in the examination? Because she could score full marks in the past. But now she actually lost 1 mark? Finally, Old Master Chin was all smiles. He could not wait to announce this great news to the world. Pei Yunj suddenly said, "Grandpa, I have an appointment with my classmate. Can I go out to play?" Before Old Master Chin could say anything, a few principals at the side stopped Pei Yunj. "Student Pei, can you consider Bei Chuan? Bei Chuan's physics department is the ace major. As long as you are willing, you can enter any professor's laboratory." The principal of Yin University, who was at the side, did not want to be outdone. Don't listen to him. Every major in Yin University is good. Moreover, there are many scholarships. Principal Su, who could not get a word in, was filled with endless regret. This was the consequence of being stupid back then. If he had found out that Pei Yunj was the top scorer in that joint examination before he rejected her, he would have brought her to the school no matter what. Following that, the principal of Yin University suddenly played the emotional card. "Yunj, you know that Old Bai is the former principal of Yin University. Isn't coming to Yin University the same as returning to your happy hometown?" Pei Yunj was speechless. Principal Bei Chuan did not want to be outdone either. "Yunj, you know that Old Zhong is my teacher. If you come to Bei Chuan, more than half of the professors here will be Old Zhong's juniors." Looking at this noisy scene, Mother Chin's face turned livid. She gritted her teeth, feeling as though she had been slapped in the face. Mother Chin took a deep breath. She did not want to stay here for another second. She turned around and left immediately. And right then, Pei Yunj's eyelids also moved. "Regarding the school selection, I'll listen to my grandfather." With that, Pei Yunj quickly walked away. Only Old Master Chin was left standing there in a daze. However, a few seconds later, the principals and Old Master Chin looked at each other. Half a minute passed. Old Master Chin suddenly became noble and elegant in a second. He sat back on the sofa and said, "Old Xiao, you guys should go back early." When the other 2 mahjong partners heard this, they knew that this matter was about to start, and immediately left. Before the other 3 principals could react, they heard Old Master Chin ask in a very reserved manner, "Do all of you know how to play mahjong?" Principal Yin University? Question mark. Principal Bei Chuan? Question mark. Principal Su? Chapter 1168. A few minutes later, the 3 principals were forced to play mahjong with Old Master Chin. Old Master Chin said with a smile, emphasizing the last 3 words, "Come, come, come. Don't let me win just because I have a granddaughter, who is the top scorer in the college entrance examination." The principals were speechless. Good Lord. Initially, they wanted to play a few rounds seriously, but now that the old man said that, who would be so stupid as to play seriously? They were all people who had lived most of their lives, who could not understand what he meant. The few principals who had been flattered for half their lives could only smile and agree at this moment, seriously losing money to play with him. Principal Su in particular had a fake smile on his face. This old thing did not let him go. It was obvious that he wanted to take back the money that he had won earlier. The entire afternoon, old Master Qin was having a lot of fun. He only saw the three principals off in the evening. His face was filled with the joy of victory. Principal Xiang, come again next time. We will. Please don't see me out. The principal of Yinhua University had a stiff smile on his face, but his heart was about to break down. He did not want to come to this godforsaken place ever again. After the principals left, old Master Qin placed his hands behind his back and walked back to the living room arrogantly. Not long after, he went upstairs to change his clothes. About half an hour later, Qin Lang had just returned to the old mansion when he was shocked by old Master Qin, who was in the living room. What are you wearing? A dragon robe? Qin Lang asked, finding it hard to explain. Old Master Qin stood in front of the mirror and looked at his bright yellow Tongshan costume. His tone was indifferent and pretentious. How is it? I'll be wearing this for the banquet. Qin Lang. Do you want me to make a king's crown for you? Guer is not around, right? Qin Lang could not be bothered with old Master Qin and puffed a sigh. I heard that Qin Youjiao got second place in the city. I hope she doesn't know about this. Do you think Guer is like you? She only scored so little in the college entrance examination. Old Master Qin had a look of disdain on his face. Qin Lang? ? What's Guer's score? Qin Lang lifted his head abruptly and asked. 749. Old Master Qin lifted his chin with a look of disdain. Unlike you, Yinhua University, who scored so much. Just now, a few principals from Yinhua University, Beichuan University, and the National Politics University were playing cards with me. Qin Lang. No wonder this old man thought of himself as an emperor, and even started to wear a dragon robe. After Qin Lang was done with his disdain, he quickly went upstairs and secretly posted on his WeChat moments to show off. Pei Yunj had only come out to hide from the principals. Chapter 1169. Hashtag Qin Youjiao ranked second in the city in the college entrance examination. Hashtag Qin Youjiao ranked second in the college entrance examination. Hashtag a few of the terms were on the hot search list, and not long after, they reached the top. The reason why Qin Youjiao did this was obvious. It was to embarrass Pei Yunj. She thought that Pei Yunj had really gone to the examination hall with a high fever and would definitely fail the exam this time. Therefore, she wanted to take the opportunity to step on Pei Yunj and embarrass Pei Yunj on the internet. After all, Pei Yunj had brothers like Qin Yu and Qin Lang, who had their own popularity, so it would be easy for her to gain popularity. In addition, Pei Yunj and Qin Youjiao had always had a grudge against each other. The netizens had always been watching for a good show. Very soon, these terms were quickly left with comments. Jiao Jiao is so awesome. She ranked second in the city. I wouldn't even dare to do this in my dreams. Is this the scene of a rich and powerful princess turning the tables? Sob sob sob. I will always love the female lead the most. Jiao Jiao charge. Since she's on the hot search list, I'll recommend my sister Jiao Jiao. She's the youngest member of the International Music Association, and the second top student in the college entrance examination hall. Looks like the princess is still a princess. She went to Neely for a year, and still managed to get second in the city when she returned. I wonder how the real daughter is doing in her college entrance examination. I heard that the real daughter had a high fever of 39 degrees Celsius during her college entrance examination. It spread all over Hongda. She's probably going to be defeated by Qin Youjiao this time. No way, right? Is a certain someone even worthy of being compared to my Jiao Jiao? A high fever isn't an excuse either. If she can't win, then she can't win. The netizens quickly left comments, wishing that they could dig up Pei Yunj's score. There were also some fans of Qin Lang and Qin Yu, who were rationally defending Pei Yunj. After all, this was as much as sister-in-law fans could do. Meanwhile at home, Qin Youjiao scrolled through the trending comments. The sarcasm at the corner of her mouth became even more intense. So what if Pei Yunj returned to the Qin family? Wasn't she still inferior to her? Was she still going to be trampled underfoot by her? Qin Youjiao lay on the sofa and continued to scroll down the trending topics. However, she saw two trending terms from the corner of her eye. Hashtag national top scorer 749 hashtag, cry. Qin Youjiao frowned. She felt a little uncomfortable, but she still clicked on this term. What does it mean to be a real big shot? Compared to Qin Youjiao's 716 plus 20 privilege points, this is the real father. She beat this year's examinees up and taught them how to be human. She didn't finish her Chinese essay and only deducted 1 point. She got 149 points. She got full marks for all other subjects. The netizens couldn't help but worship the big shot. The examinees from the same batch were rubbed against. How can she get 749 points? She's a god, right? I'm dying of laughter. Qin Youjiao just appeared on the trending topics. Why are you all so fat? Are you deliberately embarrassing the #1 female lead in the universe, Sister Jiao? Dog head. I can't let my mom see this trending topic. I'm already getting beaten up even though I'm in the same school as the top scorer. Goodbye. How can she get 749 points with a fever of 39 degrees? F***CK. She took the exam while she was sick? So fierce? I can prove it. It's true. I'm also an alumnus of Hongda. Qin Youjiao is too capable. People don't even take her seriously. Why does she have to rush to provoke the big shot? Hey, what do you mean? Why can't I understand? Don't ask. If you ask, she's the real girl. YYDS call. The passers-by were confused when they saw several alumni talking in riddles. What does this matter have to do with the real girl? Until a few minutes later, some people couldn't sit still and forward it, and claimed the status of the official media. Qin Yu, well, she's better than her brother. Yunqing Daily, come into the world of the prodigy. 749 points in the hellish college entrance examination. The editor also cried picture. P.S. There's one more chapter. Chapter 1170. Very soon. Some people were not willing to lag behind. Crush Qin Lang. Welcome to the 4th college student in my family. She will always be my little Rose. Yunqing Daily. Enter the world of the prodigy. 749 points in the hellish level of the college entrance examination. The editor is also crying. Picture. Qin Corporation. Hashtag Queen's Behavior. Hashtag Missy Rushes. Yunqing Daily. Enter the world of the prodigy. 749 points in the hellish level of the college entrance examination. The editor is also crying. Picture. This time the whole internet exploded. What was going on? Qin Yu and Qin Lang only had one younger sister. Qin Youjiao had long left the Qin family. So, the national college entrance examination champion was Pei Yunj? Is it what I think it is? The college entrance examination champion is a real daughter. Upstairs, be more serious. It's the national college entrance examination champion. Cat head. F***CK. F***CK. So she took the exam while she was sick. In the end, she still got the first place in the national college entrance examination? I'm vomiting from laughing. Sister Jiao's fans who have a bad mouth just now. Come and kowtow to the father of the top student. Ha. This is too embarrassing, right? She can get 749 points even when she is sick. What about Sister Jiao? How can Sister Jiao continue to act as the main female lead? To be honest, the real daughter fulfills all my fantasies of a rich girl. She is low-key and doesn't play tricks. She doesn't care about any comments from the outside world. You can scold or praise her, but she will accept it all. Compared to this, Qin Youjiao is so low. The real daughter's reputation in school is actually not bad. She looks cold and aloof, but she is also a human wrench. If it weren't for the school bell of the neighboring #1 high school, I would be willing to be a ghost under her skirt. Sob. As soon as these words fell, it resonated with many people. Every time they wanted to strike up a conversation with Pei Yunj and ask for her WeChat, Song Yao's smiling face next to her made their scalps go numb. In this day and age, the school bell was also digested internally. However, Qin Youjiao's face turned pale when she saw this. She bit her lip hard and stared at the screen. How could this be? Pei Yunj scored 749 points. She was the national champion? Jiao Jiao? I bought you a cake that you like. Mother Qin did not mention Pei Yunj, not wanting to upset Qin Youjiao. However, Qin Youjiao immediately walked in front of Mother Qin. Mom, how many points did Pei Yunj score? She's the national champion. Mother Qin looked flustered. She did not expect Qin Youjiao to find out so quickly. However, when Mother Qin recalled that Beichuan and Yinhua University's principal had gone to the Qin family mansion to visit Old Master Qin because of Pei Yunj, she could only bite the bullet and say, yes. Qin Youjiao recalled that she had deliberately bought the trending topic just now. Looking at it now, it was like a slap to her face. At that moment, her face turned green and red. She took a step back and could not help but shake her head with a dazed look in her eyes. How is this possible? It's impossible. She's clearly a good-for-nothing. When Mother Qin heard Qin Youjiao say that about Pei Yunj, her heart felt strangely stifled. However, she quickly comforted her. Jiao Jiao, it's not what you think. There are national champions every year. But you're the youngest member of the Music Association. There's nothing wrong with that. The Music Association, Qin Youjiao mumbled. Suddenly, she came back to her senses and remembered something. Pei Yunj had also been to Nili, and had even become a member of the Music Association, because she had cheated. However, she had been reported, although she did not know what happened next. But at least she could use this to make Pei Yunj unable to make a comeback, and completely become a street rat that everyone wanted to beat up. Mom, you're right. I'm the youngest C-rank member of the Music Association. Qin Youjiao suddenly smiled. She turned around and walked upstairs, mulling over an idea. P.S. Good night. Qin Youjiao could not do anything anymore. This time, she was the first person to deal with her when she came back. Chapter 1171. On this day, Qin Youjiao was almost trembling with anger at the group of people on the internet. She did not know who was behind this, but the trending topic directly reached the top. No matter how she tried to find her connections, she could not get rid of it. However, after 2 days, the popularity of this entry quickly disappeared. It was obvious that someone was protecting Pei Yunj. This kind of understanding almost made Qin Youjiao's eyes red with jealousy. However, in the past few days, Pei Yunj was busy with the establishment and expansion of the Higgins Group's double headquarters, and did not care about anything else. It was also because of the Higgins Group's double headquarters announcement on the internet that it had attracted the attention of many people, and even became a trending topic. In less than 2 days, because of Shang Yan's handsome interview, the Higgins Group's reputation directly rose in the country. After all, this year, the Higgins Group launched a series of high-tech product series, which directly entered the top 10 of the world's enterprises, and the top 1 of the future commercial potential list. And such a mega enterprise could establish a new headquarters in Yuncheng, which indeed attracted international attention. After all, to some extent, this would definitely raise the domestic scientific research level, and drive the economic development of Yuncheng. Therefore, many research institutes in a country could not help but want to contact the person in charge of the Higgins Group. However, it was said that the current heir of the Higgins Group never showed up, and most of the things were handled by General Manager Shang, Higgins' headquarters in Yuncheng. As soon as Pei Yunj arrived, she looked at the international design of the building. At first glance, she knew that it was a foreign enterprise. She moved her eyebrows and did not say much. She pressed the brim of her hat and stepped in. In the hall on the first floor, many people in charge of various companies had gathered. Such a scene was surprising. After all, these people were all well-known figures in the country. But now they gathered together, thinking of ways to meet the senior management of the Higgins Group. They all had plans in their hands, hoping to get the favor of the head of the Higgins Group. Inadvertently, Pei Yunj also heard a familiar voice that she had not heard for a long time. Young General Manager Chung, you can handle the affairs of your own industry at such a young age. It's really amazing. Someone next to him praised. Cheng Zihuai, who had always been arrogant among his peers, just smiled modestly. My father said that I should come out to gain more experience, and also to learn from all of you. Zihuai, you are too modest. You are also an outstanding talent in Qingcheng Computing Center. And Higgins has always paid attention to scientific research. It is estimated that the first company they will choose to cooperate with will be the Cheng Group. Speaking of this, everyone looked at Cheng Zihuai with admiration and more or less hostility. However, Cheng Zihuai had long been used to such gazes. He still smiled calmly and said, Our Cheng Group really wants to cooperate with Higgins Group, but I also heard that the Qin Group is preparing to develop in the direction of scientific research. But when he heard the scolding, his tone was mocking. CEO Qin's appetite is big, and he wants to get a foot in everything. The Cheng Group is an old technology company. No matter what aspect of strength it is, it will not be inferior. A dark light flashed across Cheng Zihuai's eyes. This time, he was indeed determined to get the opportunity to cooperate with Higgins. Therefore, he would not let the Qin Group be an obstacle to him. But fortunately, Qin Youjiao had already left the Qin Group, so he had nothing to worry about. Moreover, the Qin family still had Pei Yunj, who made him feel disgusted. Cheng Zihuai could not hide the sarcasm in his eyes. Pei Yunj only had this little trick up her sleeve, which made her brothers deliberately target Youjiao. End of this chapter. Chapter 1172. However, a burst of noise interrupted Cheng Zihuai's thoughts. Director Kong, I finally get to see you today. Everyone brought their business plans and hurried over to Kong Kuoju. Actually, this kind of thing was not usually done by the person in charge of the company, but who did not want to leave a good impression on the person in charge of Higgins. Kong Kuoju had originally come to look for Nie Yu, but he did not know what urgent matter Nie Yu had, and could not find him. As a matter of fact, as soon as he went downstairs, he saw the person in charge of the company in the hall. Did you invite me to cooperate? Kong Kuoju's tone was calm, and his eyes were a little arrogant. Then come with me to the second floor and have a good chat. Upon hearing that, a look of relief flashed across Cheng Zihuai's eyes. As expected, Kong Kuoju was in charge of the business cooperation this time. Since that was the case, he had an advantage over everyone else. After all, Kong Kuoju's family also had a small company that had always been cooperating with the Cheng Group. Zihuai, I haven't seen you for a few years. How's Uncle Cheng? Kong Kuoju asked with a smile. Everyone could not help but be jealous of Cheng Zihuai. They did not expect Cheng Zihuai to get in touch with the people of the Higgins Group so quickly. Cheng Zihuai also smiled. He was also determined to get this cooperation. Father is very good. He has been thinking about you and Uncle Kong. Not long after, everyone had just chatted in the conference hall on the second floor for a while when a woman suddenly rushed in. Sorry I'm late. I'm Chiu Han from the Qin Group. Chiu Han smiled apologetically, but her behavior was not formal. Otherwise, she would not have become the only female senior manager of the Qin Group. But soon, the people next to her sneered. What the hell? The Qin Group only sent a woman here? It seems that Boss Qin is very arrogant. Chiu Han said lightly. Boss Qin has an important meeting today, so he can't be here in person. But I also believe that Boss Qin's sincerity in this cooperation invitation is no less than anyone else's. That's nice to hear. The others looked at Chiu Han with a bit of sarcasm in their eyes. Someone even asked frivolously with a smile. Or does Boss Qin want to play a trick of surprise? Is he sending a beauty to our door? After that, everyone present looked at her with a wretched expression. Chiu Han held it in and sat at the seat furthest to the side, quietly waiting for her appointment time. At this moment, Cheng Zihuai said calmly with a hidden meaning. The Qin family has a lot of hands now. They want to get their hands on everything. Zihuai, aren't you and Qin Youjiao? Kong Kuoju raised his eyebrows. Why do you not seem to like the Qin family? Youjiao is not the Qin family's biological daughter. She has been chased out of the family a long time ago. As for the real daughter that was sent back, she is very good at handling things. Cheng Zihuai's tone was filled with disgust. Kong Kuoju quickly understood. Kong Kuoju laughed. I see. But it's not a big deal. Leave it to me. On the top floor. It was the first time Nieyu faced Pei Yunji's high-pressure aura. He felt a chill down his spine. What do you mean? Are you trying to fool me with this? Pei Yunji's face was expressionless. She threw the things on the table and suppressed her anger. Nieyu picked up the proposal and flipped through it. He did not notice anything wrong. But not long after, Nieyu suddenly remembered something. He borrowed the computer to check the data and found that there were many problems with the expenditure of this public welfare fund. It was a fake account. Miss Pei, this really wasn't my... Nieyu panicked. He finally knew why Pei Yunji was angry. Chapter 1173. This time, someone was injecting water into the Higgins Group's public welfare fund plan, hoping to earn a few $100 million. Nieyu thought that Pei Yunji was just like the other people in the group, wanting to create a public welfare fund to earn a good reputation. Therefore, he did not care too much about the development of this plan. However, he did not expect that when Pei Yunji came today, he would step on Pei Yunji's bottom line repeatedly. Do I care that you did it? Pei Yunji smiled faintly. There was no warmth in his eyes. Every word struck Nieyu's heart, causing him to tremble. What's the difference between a traitor and an idiot? Nieyu's scalp went numb. This proposal, and the detailed information at the bottom were very thick. In the past, he had always thought that Pei Yunji was a scientific genius. However, he could only rely on Shang Yan for the company's matters. However, reality directly poured a bucket of ice water on him. Not only did Pei Yunji have an astonishing memory, but she was also very familiar with business. He could remember the content and data analysis of the plan after reading it once, and even see the loopholes. Get rid of all the rotten bugs and useless people in the company. If you don't want to stay here, you can leave the next proposal to me. I will also talk to Shang Yan. Pei Yunji tried her best to maintain a calm tone, but it still made Nieyu shiver. Nieyu could not help but take another look at Pei Yunji. While he was afraid of Pei Yunji, it was also the first time he truly acknowledged this person as their Higgins successor. Yes, Mississippi, Nieyu hurriedly answered. And for the next half an hour, Nieyu braced himself and listened to Pei Yunji's plan to correct the mistakes and the historical data. His heart trembled in fear. Nieyu could also see that Pei Yunji was suppressing her anger, so he was very afraid that in the next moment, Pei Yunji would grab his neck and ask him if he wanted to die. It had to be said that although Pei Yunji was unwilling to take over at the beginning, as long as she took over from the beginning, she would not allow Higgins to live like before. Do you remember all the things I asked you to do again? Pei Yunji's voice sounded. Yes, Mississippi. Nieyu's heart was numb. Looking at these plans, none of them survived in Pei Yunji's hands. He suddenly started to miss Director Shang, who asked him if he had a brain with a smile. It was better than this big boss who shot arrows in the dark when he worked. Finally, Pei Yunji prepared to leave and did not let Nieyu send her downstairs. Nieyu also collapsed on the sofa, as if he had just escaped from death. Pei Yunji pressed down on the brim of her hat. She was still not in a good mood. She did not expect the people Shang Yan sent over to be so unreliable. However, in the next moment, the elevator door opened. Pei Yunji followed the person out and realized that she had gone the wrong way. This was the second floor. Coming back to her senses, before Pei Yunji left, she glanced at the people who were discussing cooperation not far away and suddenly felt a sense of comfort. The people in this company were not that bad. There was still hope. With this thought in mind, Pei Yunji was just about to go down when she suddenly heard a familiar voice. Yo, Miss Chiu is making a scene here. Miss Chin is also here? Pei Yunji stopped in her tracks. She was sure that this Miss Chin was referring to her. Pei Yunji had just turned around when she saw Chiu Han looking at a man with a beer belly with an ugly expression. Pei Yunji had been to the Chin Corporation a few times, so she knew Chiu Han. She was a gentle but resolute woman. Miss Chiu, I said that you can leave with your plan. Kong Kwoju did not hide his intention to target her. Chapter 1174. Mr. Kong, you haven't read my proposal yet. How do you know that Higgins doesn't need to work with us? Chiohan didn't care about being wronged in the workplace, but she was annoyed by their hostile attitude towards the Chin group. Isn't it obvious enough? What I mean is, don't waste time. Our group will never work with the Chin group. After saying that, Kong Kwoju suddenly took out a cigarette and said with a smile, "But if Miss Chio wants to stay for a chat, I don't mind." This kind of malicious humiliation caused the people around them to laugh. "Miss Chio, don't be a joke." "Exactly. Men don't like you when you look at your ugly face." Chio Han suppressed the anger in her heart, but she could only smile. The Research Institute, that has strategic cooperation with the Chin Group, is a first-class research institute in the country. We have the best team resources. Kong Kwoju suddenly looked Chio Han up and down and asked, "Miss Chio, what are your measurements?" Chio Han's face instantly turned red. This was the first time she had been humiliated in public. Suddenly, a leisurely voice came from the side. "What? Are you going to get breast implants and butt pads?" His words caused everyone's smiles to freeze, and the atmosphere to freeze. Kong Kwoju's face turned green and red. Eldest miss. Chio Han didn't know why Pei Yunj was here. She didn't expect eldest miss's first sentence to be so fierce. If she offended Kong Kwoju, she might offend Higgins in the future. Chio Han panicked for no reason. Just as she was about to say something to salvage the situation, she heard Pei Yunj's question. "Who allowed you to smoke here?" Everyone was speechless. This was the first time they saw someone being so arrogant in someone else's company. Chio Han immediately pulled Pei Yunj behind her to protect her. "Director Kong, since we can't work together this time, I'll look for you next time." With that, Chio Han was just about to leave when Kong Kwoju stopped her. He sneered and asked, "What do you mean? You want to leave just like that?" Pei Yunj, who was pulled behind Chio Han, thought about how this mess was hers, and how the plan to steal a few 100 million yuan was also hers. Pei Yunj couldn't hold back her laughter when she saw that all the people smoking in the conference room were her employees. What a lousy company. If it wasn't for the fact that Nancy refused to leave no matter what, she wouldn't have taken over this kind of rotten company. When Pei Yunj's words fell into the ears of the others, it became a blatant provocation. "The young miss of the Chin family is amazing. Even the Higgins group doesn't like it." Someone immediately gloated. "Director Kong, did you see it clearly? This is the attitude of the Chin family." Chio Han's face darkened. "You guys, at this time." Chung Zihuai's tone was also cold as he mocked. "Pei Yunj, I advise you not to cause trouble for your brother." The Higgins group is not something that the Chin family can afford to offend. So this is the famous young miss of the Chin family. Kong Kwoju sarcastically said, "I didn't expect that in Miss Pei's eyes. Our group has become a lousy company." "Director Kong." Before Chio Han could finish, Kong Kwoju interrupted. "I told you, as long as I Kong Kwoju am alive, Higgins will never consider the Chin family. Don't you understand me?" However, suddenly, a voice came from behind Kong Kwoju. "What's wrong?" Kong Kwoju looked flustered and immediately put out the cigarette. "Boss Nia." Chapter 1175. As soon as Nia came downstairs, he heard the commotion inside. Kong Kwoju immediately pushed the blame to Nia and said sarcastically, "Boss Nia, it's the Chin Group's people who are causing trouble in our company. They said that Higgins is a lousy company." Chio Han's expression changed. "Boss Nia, it's not like that." Compared to a small fry like Kong Kwoju, Chio Han knew Nia's position in Higgins better. It was the woman next to him who said it. Kong Kwoju immediately pointed at Pei Yunge and said fiercely. Nia was initially annoyed, but when his gaze swept across Pei Yunge, his body instantly froze. I don't know where the Chin family got the guts to humiliate Higgins' group like this. However, I feel that there's no need for the Chin group to cooperate with us in the future. Kong Kwoju still looked excited as he splashed dirty water on the Qin group. Nieyu's mind instantly went blank, as if there was only a row of words left. He was King dead meat. It was obviously not a small matter for this ancestor to scold his own company in anger. Nieyu's body started to freeze, and a chill ran down his spine. He did not know what expression he should have, nor did he hear what Qiu Han was explaining to him. In his heart, he wanted to press that brain-dead guy with the surname Kong to the ground and beat him up. He had guts. Of all the people he could have provoked, he had to provoke the one he shouldn't provoke the most. Boss Nia, let's talk upstairs. Pei Yunji's emotions could not be heard clearly. Nieyu's legs were a little weak. Okay. Kong Kwoju, who was still scolding Pei Yungu at the side, did not realize that something was wrong. He watched as Pei Yungu minded her own business and entered the stairs first. Kong Kwoju did not forget to mock Nieyu. Boss Nia, look, Miss Qin's temper is terrible. She even dares to walk in front of you. Nieyu took a deep breath and resisted the urge to pull Kong Kwoju's head and slam it against the wall. Shut up. At this moment, Qiu Han chased after her anxiously. Miss Qin, let Boss Qin handle this matter. There's no need. I was the one who said that someone ruined the company just now. I just need to apologize. Pei Yungu suppressed her anger and was rather patient with Qiu Han. Qiu Han was speechless. When someone apologized, would they have an expression that said, I'll kill you if I don't go upstairs? Kong Kwoju laughed coldly. He was still waiting to go upstairs to watch the show. Nieyu, who saw Kong Kwoju's expression, was speechless. Why had he been so blind to hire such a brainless person in the first place? Qiu Han watched as the elevator door closed. Although she was anxious, she could only call Qin Lian. On the top floor, Kong Kwoju continued to be impassioned as soon as he entered the door. Boss Nia, the Qin group is looking down on our company. They are not fit to be our business partner. Then. Before Kong Kwoju could finish speaking, he saw Pei Yungu sitting at the office table. This was the CEO's office. He heard that it was prepared for the boss who rarely came. What are you doing? How dare you? Before Kong Kwoju could scold her, he heard Nieyu say with difficulty, Miss, please calm down. Kong Kwoju could not react for a moment. What was going on? Nieyu was Shang Yan's subordinate. He had never bowed to anyone. What was going on now? How did the young miss of the Qin family become the miss that Nieyu was talking about? It was my dereliction of duty to not satisfy you at the initial stage of the establishment of Yun City's headquarters. Nieyu continued. Kong Kwoju felt as if he had been struck by lightning when he heard this. Even if he did not understand, he could more or less guess Pei Yunji's identity. He remembered that the boss of the company was a woman. P.S. Good night. Chapter 1176. Kong Kwoju lifted his head abruptly, his pupils constricting. How is that possible? The young mistress of the Qin family was the boss of the Higgins group? Kong Kwoju felt as though he was soaked in cold water. He knew he was done for. He had already offended the boss. Nieyu. Pei Yunj licked her lower lip, choosing her words carefully. Now that I think about how this lousy company is mine, I feel a little embarrassed. Nieyu started to feel afraid. Who do you want to embarrass today? Pei Yunj played with the fountain pen in her hand and suddenly smiled mysteriously. I couldn't tell, but the company's sexism is quite deep-rooted. Why? Am I not allowed to eat at the table when the company's higher-ups gather in the future? Hearing this, Nieyu's legs almost turned to jelly. No, absolutely not. Kong Kwoju shuddered, not daring to lift his head to look at Pei Yunj, especially when he thought of the words he had said downstairs. I said, as long as I, Kong Kwoju, am alive, Higgins will never consider the Qin group. Kong Kwoju could not help but close his eyes. He had already predicted his ending. This time he was really done for. Boss, I was really wrong, I didn't know you were. Now that Kong Kwoju thought about what Cheng Zihuai had said, he wanted to strangle Cheng Zihuai to death. Did Pei Yunj need to suck up to her brothers and target Qin Yojiao? With her status, was it difficult to kill Qin Yojiao? Boss, I was listening to slander. It was Cheng Zihuai who said that the Qin group did not respect Higgins at all, and only wanted to cheat him of the opportunity to cooperate. Boss, I did it for Higgins. Please forgive me this once. Kong Kwoju still had some brains and knew how to push the blame. However, Yu already knew Pei Yunja's character. Kong Kwoju, you can leave Higgins now. Yu's tone was cold. Boss, Kong Kwoju was unwilling to give up. After looking at Yu, he looked at Pei Yunj again. A gloomy and cold smile quickly flashed across his eyes. However, after Kong Kwoju left, Pei Yunj then asked unhurriedly, who was the one who planned this public welfare fund project? Yu suddenly reacted. He froze and looked in the direction where Kong Kwoju had left. He had handed this project to Kong Kwoju. After thinking about it, only Kong Kwoju had the highest chance of doing something. All the evidence must be gathered tonight. Don't let anyone escape. After Pei Yunj finished speaking, Yu quickly said, all the evidence will be gathered in 4 hours. What about after that? Hearing this efficiency, Pei Yunj raised her eyebrows slightly and chuckled softly. She said casually, send a dishonest person to jail for more than 10 years first before someone learns to be obedient. In her previous life, the company that Pei Yunja's grandfather had left her was in a much better condition than the current Higgins group. The higher-ups were also the backbone. However, 3 years before Pei Yunj took over, she sent 7 of her subordinates to the police station. This made those who wanted to go to Pei Corporation to be commercial spies feel a chill down their spines. Downstairs, Kong Kwoju's expression was full of hatred. He could not wait to kill Pei Yunj on the spot. However, when he thought of how much he had earned from the Higgins Group's projects over the years, his expression became slightly better. He scolded fiercely. F***ck, you're just a little girl. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? Kong Kwoju went to pack his things with a long face. Downstairs, Chio Han paced back and forth anxiously, only to see Yu and Pei Yunj come down together. Chapter 1177. Chio Han went up and hurriedly bowed to Yu to apologize. Boss Nya, I'm really sorry, my miss. Before he could finish, a man hurriedly walked in from outside the door. His eyebrows were as handsome as ink, his black hair was blown into a mess, but it was slightly curly, making him look sexy. Under his black trousers, a pair of straight long legs were exceptionally eye-catching. Qin Lian's voice was slightly cold and slow, but his gaze landed on Pei Yunj. Boss Nya, my guer is young. If you want to settle the score, let's settle it. Just now in the car, Qin Lian had heard that Pei Yunj had offended Yu. Pei Yunj raised his eyebrows. He was quite surprised that Qin Lian would go against Yu for his sake. Yu was also a little terrified. Settle the score? He dared to settle the score with the boss's brother? Just a moment ago, Pei Yunj's tone was unprecedentedly gentle. Boss Qin, you must be joking big. Miss Pei is very good. It's our company's negligence. We've already decided to fire Kong Kwoju. As an explanation to your company, what do you think? After Yu said this, Chio Han's head was filled with question marks. Was he serious? They fired the founding elder of Higgins's dynasty, just to give the Qin family an explanation? A ripple flashed across Qin Lian's calm eyes as he looked at Pei Yunj again. Go home. Pei Yunj looked at Qin Lian, and was silent for a moment. Big brother. Qin Lian's body froze. The indifference in his eyes also melted. He only replied in a low voice. Okay. Pei Yunj seemed to have remembered something. She suddenly took the document from Chio Han's hand and stuffed it into Yu's hand. Boss Nya, you should have time to take a look at this cooperation plan, right? Pei Yunj asked casually. Yu. F***ck. The boss was going to go through the back door personally. Yes, Mississippi, Yu hurriedly replied. This scene was also inexplicably frightening. Boss Nya, what are you afraid of? In the car, Qin Lian suddenly asked. Guer, do you know Yu? Yes. Pei Yunj did not intend to hide it. Qin Lian did not ask further. His face was calm, but his knuckles were faintly white. Today, his relationship with Guer had improved a little. At least today, Guer had taken the initiative to call him Big Brother. Thinking of this, Qin Lian's lips curled into a smile. Pei Yunj, on the other hand, did not think of anything else. She was only playing with her phone, thinking about going to see Song Yao's crew in the afternoon. Hua Corporation. Luo Xie took a deep breath and turned to look at Huashidu. He accused, Huashidu, this is kidnapping. I invited you to attend my union's banquet. Huashidu was still dealing with work and did not look up at him. What college entrance examination? Did she do well? Luo Xie could not help but ask. Seng Su was even more excited than Huashidu, the college entrance examination champion. She's ranked first in the country. Huashidu was interrupted and looked up at Seng Su calmly. She's that strong? After Luo Xie said that, he suddenly realized. But a few days before the college entrance examination, wasn't she still in Continent K? This guy took the exam naked? So what? Let me tell you. Our Miss Pei went for the exam with a high fever. Did you know? Second in the country, 10 points lower than her. What kind of difference is this in the college entrance examination, where 1 point can defeat a whole group of people? Master Pei swept away thousands of people. Seng Su began to ramble incoherently. However, the man beside him asked leisurely, Seng Su, are you done? Seng Su. Oh no, he had stolen Master Du's chance to show off. Chapter 1178. I can't tell that the girl is a straight-A student. Ever since Luo Xie knew that Pei Yunj's family was well off, and that she had 3 older brothers who doted on her with their lives, he had always defined Pei Yunj as a good-for-nothing second generation. Seng Su, go out for a while. After Seng Su left, Huashida asked casually, what do you want to say to me? Towards Pei Yunj, are you playing around, or are you serious? Luo Xie also knew that it was inappropriate for him to say this, but with Pei Yunj's situation, whether she was playing around or serious, it was quite scary. However, as soon as his voice fell, the man stopped writing the fountain pen in his hand and looked at Luo Xie calmly. He slowly capped the pen. Do you think that I will waste time looking for someone to play with? This was what Luo Xie was most afraid of. Luo Xie took a deep breath and turned on the computer again. He passed his investigation and analysis to Huashidu. His words were concise and to the point. I targeted some of the background information that you gave me in Pei Yunj's past tests. From a professional point of view, she has a very big problem. As a brother, I have to remind you that this is a problem. Luo Xie saw that Huashida did not speak. He opened his mouth again and said, most of the serious problems like hers are caused by the environment in her early years. I have never encountered a patient like her type. If it was not for the new test instrument, he would not have been able to determine that Pei Yunj really had a problem. In other words, the most difficult thing to deal with was not Pei Yunj's condition, but Pei Yunj's unwillingness to cooperate, so he could not detect any problems with her. What are the chances of her being completely cured? The man lowered his eyes, not knowing what he was thinking. I have never seen her when she acts up, so I can't guarantee you, and I can't be sure if she inherited it. But the biggest problem right now is her compatibility. Luo Xie was silent for a moment. Two-way type I disorder. Some people will act up according to the season, and there are 4 peaks. Have you come into contact with her at that time? The man lowered his eyes in silence. I still want to give you a piece of advice. Young girls are the most sensitive when they are in love. Maybe you like the Pei Yunj in front of you very much, but I don't know if you will be able to stand the Pei Yunj who acts up repeatedly. Luo Xie sighed softly. I am saying all this for your own good, and also for her own good. During the period of love, it may be a small matter, but for a person with two-way type I disorder, you don't know what she will think of. I have met a young woman in the past who almost killed her husband because of a small matter. Huashidu only curled the corners of his lips indecipherable, lit the cigarette between his fingers, and blew out a beautiful smoke ring casually. Is that so? I am more afraid of what she will do to herself. Luo Xie was silent for a long time. Huashidu had fallen too thoroughly. Up to you. I can help you look after her. But as a biological brother, I will have to pay more. Luo Xie did not forget to say, all right, thanks. In the afternoon, Pei Yunja's eyelids twitched violently as she looked at the script. Boss, the madam has just finished the liver removal surgery. Does she know that she is wrong? The madam is no longer breathing. The results of the examination showed that the madam is 3 months pregnant. Pei Yunj fell into a long silence. She looked at Song Yao. Are you going to play the female lead? Song Yao shook her head. I will play the supporting role of the White Lotus, the male lead's first love. Pei Yunj thought for a long time and could only praise her. You have a bright future. Chapter 1179. Song Yao. Pei Yunj looked at Song Yao, who had no choice but to wear a cotton-padded jacket in the summer, and took out a fan to fan Song Yao. I really think our sister Yao is quite good. Looking at Song Yao's sullen face, Pei Yunj couldn't help but chuckle and coax her again. Song Yao deliberately remained expressionless. You think I'm suitable to play the White Lotus? Pei Yunj suppressed her smile and was quite sincere. I think you're suitable to play the first love. Song Yao's temperament was indeed too clean, and she looked gentle and weak. It made people feel that she was not mainstream, and could not play the role of the main female lead. Therefore, she could only play the second female lead. And at the side, the director looked at an extremely beautiful and bright girl, and said something in Song Yao's ear with a smile, making Song Yao's ears turn red. The scene was so sweet that it was even more eye-catching than the scene where the main male and female lead were exchanging candy. The director walked over and sighed. My Song, why don't you let your friend act with you to get the feeling? Just now, I asked you to play the White Lotus sister who fawns over the male lead, but you gave me the feeling that you don't love men. Do you think you're worthy of your face? Song Yao. Pei Yunj lowered her head at the side. What are you laughing at? Song Yao was a little angry, and bumped Pei Yunj's shoulder lightly. However, Pei Yunj took the opportunity to lean on Song Yao's shoulder, and laughed so hard that her shoulders trembled. Pei Yunj leaned against Song Yao lazily, and her tone sounded quite sad. If it wasn't for her beautiful eyes that were captivating, no one would know. Tian, you're treating me too badly. No one knew if she was complaining or acting coquettishly. This was too ostentatious. The female stage supervisor's eyes lit up, and they almost howled out loud. What kind of damned beautiful love was this? Something was wrong. Something was wrong. Could this be the legendary Restless Gold, who gave Song Yao his famous watch? But he was treating Song Yao's younger sister too well. He wasn't impatient with Song Yao at all. Instead, he was acting coquettishly, emptying his health bar. The director glanced at the plastic male and female lead, who were acting with each other not far away, then looked at Pei Yunj, who was leaning on Song Yao's shoulder. His emotions were indescribable. I lost. Yesterday, when they were filming the kissing scene between the male and female lead, the stage supervisor's gazes were empty and lifeless. But now? The stage supervisors who had stayed up all day to film the makeup scenes last night had their eyes light up when they saw Song Yao and Luo Seng leaning against each other. Pei Yunj respected Song Yao's acting career, and was acting with Song Yao at the side. For some reason, Song Yao was able to get into the zone easily. She was shy, dazed, and stuttered as she was slapped on the head. It wasn't the disgusting green tea, but the true feeling of first love. This feels so right. The director was surprised and couldn't help but glance at Pei Yunj, who was beside him. One had to admit that Pei Yunj's aura was really strong. Although she was a girl, saying such scummy words of love did not maintain the peace at all. On the contrary, it made people want to fall into her hands and crazily want to date her. This face is too confusing. Is she a newcomer? The scriptwriter next to him couldn't help but sigh. Director, why don't you consider giving them a socialist sisterhood? I think it'll be a hit. Director, can IF** King afford it? The watch she gave Song Yao is already worth tens of millions. She's the mysterious sugar daddy? The scriptwriter had a look of I've actually hit the real deal on his face. He was in disbelief and excitement. Chapter 1180. When it was almost done, the director hurried over. Song Yao, didn't you act pretty well? Why can't you match up with Wang Kai? Song Yao's eyebrows twitched at the thought of Wang Kai, who was playing the male lead. She suppressed the nausea in her stomach. Every time they filmed, Wang Kai liked to take the opportunity to act with Song Yao and take advantage of her. Pei Yunj also saw Song Yao's expression, which was quickly restrained, but she didn't say anything. Suddenly, a rather handsome man walked over. His expression, which he thought was the most handsome, made him look a little greasy. "Director, is Yao Yao and I going to act together next?" This nickname was very suggestive, and Pei Yunj's gaze turned cold. She looked up and glanced at Wang Kai. Suddenly she asked, "What's this? The male lead?" Wang Kai's face froze. Initially, when he saw Pei Yunj beside Song Yao, he felt an itch in his heart. He didn't know where Song Yao got such a beautiful friend from. But before he could show off in front of Pei Yunj, he heard Pei Yunj's question. Those who didn't know better would think that he was a plaything. "Wang Kai, come, I'll bring you to meet Song Yao's sugar daddy, Abu friend." The director immediately pulled Wang Kai over and teased him. The director was a smart man. Obviously, he didn't want Wang Kai to get into a conflict with Pei Yunj here. He was indirectly telling Wang Kai not to provoke Pei Yunj. Wang Kai could only put on a fake smile. "Hello, I'm the male lead of this movie, Wang Kai." Pei Yunj only raised his eyes slightly. Half of his eyes seemed to be immersed in the shadows under the tree. His aura was already difficult to approach. "Hello, I'm Pei Yunj, who doesn't like it when people try to get close to Miss Song Yao, the director." The surrounding floor attendants almost went crazy. They couldn't suppress their excitement. F***CK, this greeting is so good, sister. It's a bomb. Wang Kai is so pitiful. His aura is completely crushed. Where did Song Yao's sugar daddy get it from? I want the same type. Is there anyone willing to share it with me? Wang Kai could only put on a sullen smile. Miss Pei is really good at joking. Pei Yunj tilted her head back and finished the water. Then, she casually twisted the mineral water bottle into a strip and casually threw it into the bin. She smiled lazily. Is that so? I'm not a person who can take stimulation. I can send anyone who dares to touch her to the hospital. Why don't you try? As soon as she finished speaking, she smashed the mineral water bottle into the bin. Everyone shuddered. At this moment, the atmosphere around them turned cold. Everyone suddenly came to their senses when they saw the irritable look in Pei Yunj's eyes and the faint smile on her face. Big bosses didn't act coquettishly in front of just anyone. Other than Song Yao, the others could only get beaten up. Song Yao tugged at the hem of Pei Yunj's shirt. Only then did Pei Yunj's face warm up a little. Don't scare people. Song Yao couldn't help but laugh. She stuffed another candy into Pei Yunj's mouth. Peel it yourself. My hands are dirty. Seeing this, everyone thought that Song Yao would be angry when she treated Big Boss so casually. However, Pei Yunj really picked up the lychee-flavored lollipop and slowly peeled it. However, before the others could be surprised, they saw Pei Yunj call out again. Song Yao instinctively turned around. She wanted to ask something, but Pei Yunj suddenly stuffed the candy into Song Yao's mouth. She snorted lazily. Who are you trying to fool? P.S. Good night. Chapter 1181. F***CK. Their defense was broken. Everyone was caught off guard by this handful of sweets. Was it fun to throw sweets in front of them? However, Wang Kai's expression was dark and embarrassed. He was extremely unwilling to see a woman steal his limelight. Little Kai, don't take it too hard. The director patted him on the shoulder. Wang Kai did not say anything else. Pei Yunj spent the entire afternoon watching Song Yao's scenes. The gaze of death fell on Wang Kai, so much so that Wang Hua did not dare to touch Pei Yunj at all. He was afraid that Pei Yunj would come up and twist his neck, like how she twisted the mineral water bottle earlier. After filming, Pei Yunj had originally planned to leave with Song Yao. However, she heard that the production crew had made a last-minute arrangement. According to Song Yao's explanation, a friend of the director had organized an esports live broadcast. They had arranged for a professional player to compete against a popular production crew. In the end, on the same day, More than half of the actors who had signed a contract with the production crew had left. Hence, Song Yao's director wanted to take advantage of the situation and help the production crew gain some popularity. It's a good thing. Everyone buck up. Perform well later. The director said excitedly. Pei Yunj stood at the side. Her finger pressed against the area between her thumb and index finger. Her beautiful eyes narrowed slightly as she looked at the director. The director's smile suddenly froze. He felt that his life was in danger. Song Yao's temper was indeed not that good. It should only take an hour. After the match, I'll accompany you to buy desserts. I still have the chocolates that I bought for you last time in my car. After Song Yao said that, the director felt that the danger was gradually disappearing. I don't really eat sweet things like this. That was what Pei Yunj said. Yeah, I really can't eat anymore. Do me a favor. Song Yao casually found an excuse for Pei Yunj. True enough. When they arrived at the venue, a few female stage supervisors saw that Pei Yunj was like a man. She carried a bag of snacks and happily walked to the first row with both hands in her pockets. The stage supervisor asked hesitantly, Song, this person in your family usually has a rather bad temper, right? Song Yao's lips curved. Occasionally, when I don't have time to bother with her, she will throw a tantrum. Usually she's very easy to coax. The stage supervisor was speechless. Was there something wrong with her mind? Why was it getting more and more out of control? Not long after, all the audience members had arrived. The live stream also started. As expected, the audience began to complain when they did not see the popular female lead. The netizens in the live stream were even more exasperated. It was only when the camera swept past and they saw Song Yao's first love face that some people were comforted. Is that Song Yao? Is that Song Yao? I'm shocked. When did she join the production team? She seems to be the second female lead in the production team of the CEO's Taboo X Love Next Door. The two production teams are going to compete together? Isn't this deliberately boosting Lei Ju's traffic? Song Yao's face is too limiting. She can't play the female lead at all. Forget it, my sister has a godly face too. I'll let her compete, as long as she's not too noob. Are you crazy? Why do you have to invite a group of actors to compete? Stop faking it in the esports industry. Don't say that. Wang Kai is very good at gaming. He used to be a youth trainee in the RS team. Later on, his family did not allow him to. Hearing this, the others were a little hopeful. Meanwhile, the esports fans were too lazy to turn on their microphones. They only paid attention to the two esports teams at the back, hoping to see them compete. However, as the camera swept past, a sharp-eyed veteran esports fan suddenly stared at the girl in the first row, who was wearing a mask and staring at a paper bag. The girl in the first row looks familiar. I think I've seen her somewhere. Chapter 1182. Did I see wrongly? The veteran esports fan hesitantly sent a message, thinking that no one would reply. Then someone quietly replied, I think I saw it too. Is it Ishin? Very soon, the conversation between the veteran esports fans was flooded. The other esports fans didn't notice their conversation, and the netizens who came to join in the fun didn't know who Ishin was either. Wang Kai's wife is so handsome. Brother Kai's face is torn apart. Faced with this group of fans' brainless praises, the rest of the fans turned off their microphones in order to avoid being slandered. However, the esports fans couldn't take it anymore. Are your eyes blind? Song Yao is sitting next to you. Who are you calling a beauty? Is this the standard of Song Yao's fans? Even the senior is trying to scam? Is the fandom nowadays like this? She's ugly and greasy to begin with. Why can't people talk about her? What's wrong with them? If Song Yao's fans were that bold, would Song Yao be scolded so badly by them? Song Yao's fans who were peeping. Oh, the argument between Song Yao's fans and Wang Kai's fans had happened a few days ago. Everyone still remembered it. However, because Song Yao had very few fans, she was scolded badly by Wang Kai's fans. Words like pimping on women, green tea bitch seducing their brother, get out of the entertainment industry, flooded Song Yao's comment section. However, Song Yao had always been in a good mood. She didn't mind it too much and didn't tell Pei Yunj about it. Some of the netizens felt their hearts ache, especially when they found out that Song Yao was preparing for her college entrance examination. Although Song Yao had a pure and innocent face, she had never played tricks and didn't like to talk to the male actors in the production team. So much so that her fans wondered if Song Yao had no interest in men. Until a while ago, the paparazzi took a photo of Wang Kai hugging Song Yao. Song Yao was scolded so badly that she lost 2 endorsement deals that she had gone to great lengths to sign. Preparations for the competition. Wang Kai seemed to finally be able to hold his head high. He smiled confidently and didn't forget to glance at Pei Yunj, who was not far away, with a contemptuous expression. After that, Wang Kai borrowed an account from an esports player he was close with and logged into the competition venue. The atmosphere was heated up. F*CK. Brother Kai is using the account of HK Team Kaka. They actually know each other? Just by looking at his appearance, Wang Kai is indeed amazing. He actually managed to borrow Kaka's account. While the esports fans commented on it, Wang Kai's fans didn't forget to insult Song Yao. Song Yao is so good at sticking to others. Did he stick to any esports player? Get someone to give him an account. Are you Wang Kai fans sick in the head? It's none of your business whose account Song Yao borrows. I'm dying of laughter. Song Yao's fans are too bad-mouthed. Who said they are Wang Kai fans? Don't randomly use fan accounts. During the discussion, Wang Kai even asked Song Yao magnanimously, "Do you know any professional players? If you use a private account, it's unlikely that you'll be able to win. It's okay if you don't, I can. A private account is pretty good too. Thank you." Song Yao thanked him casually. After a while, she suddenly thought of something. The last time she begged Pei Yunj to help her get an account, Pei Yunj had secretly changed her ID. Her name was even called Master Pei's Little Fairy. Song Yao. Not long after, Pei Yunj, who was in the first row, received Song Yao's message. "Sister Yao. Yunge? ? Sister Yao. Do you have an account to lend to me?" Pei Yunj took a while to react. Then she remembered what she had done previously. Pei Yunj looked up and saw Song Yao looking at her expressionlessly. Chapter 1183. Pei Yunge immediately replied, "Yunge, yes." Pei Yunge handed over his account and password to Song Yao with both hands. At this moment, after being rejected, Wang Kai sneered and crossed his arms, waiting for Song Yao to make a fool of himself. The other actresses in the crew asked the esports players on the spot to help them borrow an account. Only Song Yao was arrogant. He wanted to see what low-level account Song Yao was going to take out. Song Yao still didn't know what account he had in his hand, nor had he played a duo with Pei Yunge. However, under Wang Kai's dazzling display, the other members of the crew borrowed the accounts of some small teams, which were not eye-catching. No one was interested either. Until the next moment, Song Yao obediently logged in according to the account password. Suddenly, a special entrance effect of a max-level account appeared on the screen. Because the venue was meticulously prepared, it was almost a semi-projection of 3D. It was cool and shocking. Welcome, earn 100 million first, to the team competition. Many people who didn't know this nickname subconsciously looked at the win rate. Win rate, 100%. A max-level account actually had a 100% win rate? Everyone's hair stood on end. F*CK. I'm not dreaming. A boss with a max-level account? Kaka doesn't seem to be at the max level yet. F*CK. 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 It's Ishan's account, it's Ishan. Song Yao is awesome. There's actually someone who can get the account of Ishan? How did he do it? At this time, Wang Kai's fans started to make a few untimely remarks. TSK, the tea master is amazing. How else can he get it? He just has to sleep with her. However, the effect of these words far exceeded everyone's expectations. Although Ishan's fans were very easygoing, their numbers were unexpectedly large, and they immediately beat up Wang Kai's fans. You look at your brother's mutilated face every day, and your ego has gone to your head, right? Who doesn't know that I, Ishan, am a girl? Ha 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 ha. When Ishan beckons, your brother can only get Neely if he wants to get the number tag of love. Don't touch my noble and cool Ishan, thank you. F***ck. Sister Yao made it real just to get the Ishan account? Noble and cool Ishan abused his heart to chase after his wife? I've already come up with a novel about a tycoon's forbidden love. It's much better than that CEO's forbidden love. Stop it. Stop it. She's an unknown actress a popular esports god. If Sister Yao can get Ishan to come out and play a match today, I'm willing to grit my teeth and finish watching this ridiculous drama of hers. I'll offer up some meager viewership ratings. Plus 10086. This was the first time Wang Kai had been scolded so much that she was speechless. She clearly realized that this Ishan was an existence that she could not afford to offend. Although many people on the internet did not like to talk about being a couple, they could tell that Ishan and Song Yao had a very good relationship. Otherwise, she would not have borrowed his account. Therefore, they turned a blind eye to the couple's behavior. However, the scene was out of control. What's going on? Song, where did you get a max level account? The female lead beside her was also stunned. Song Yao was speechless. She did not expect that the account that Pei Yunj gave her would be a max level account. It was the popular one in the esports circle. Earn 100 million first. Song Yao did not dare to look up at Pei Yunj. She could only see from the corner of her eye that Pei Yunj was sleeping while avoiding the camera. However, she could not sleep well either. This was because of the incessant screams in the arena. Ah, it's Ishan. I'm going crazy. No one had expected that an ordinary esports celebrity show would be able to get a Ishan account. Chapter 1184. Sister Yao, you're awesome. Someone below the stage shouted excitedly. Song Yao, who was unaware of the situation. Sister Yao, I beg you, let Billion Deity come out and compete. Sister Yao, has Billion Deity stayed at your house before? Someone suddenly asked. In the end, someone started to jeer. Song Yao. Not only had he stayed at my house, but he was also sitting in the first row watching the competition. Sister Yao, let Billion Deity come out and compete. I'm willing to watch your new drama 10 times. I'll open 10 computers for you to watch. I'll book an entire internet cafe for you to watch. At this moment, everyone in the production crew realized what it meant to be the most popular. Meanwhile, Wang Kai's expression was extremely ugly. He had not expected that Song Yao would actually get Billion Deity's account. Some people in the livestream also reacted. I think I saw Billion Deity just now. She's in the front row. Me too. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Everyone in the livestream was begging the cameraman to move to the first row. Unfortunately, the cameraman did not watch the livestream, which made Billion Deity's fans howl in anger. At this moment, the director was also confused. Who is Billion Deity? The scriptwriter rolled his eyes. A super godly esports big boss. Although she doesn't really participate in competitions, she's very popular, almost on par with Almighty Qin. Also, Billion Deity's popularity overseas is much higher than in China. She's the top 1 player on the K-continent's leaderboard. She's that good. The director was shocked. The scriptwriter laughed coldly. Let me tell you, Song Yao is going to come out of the closet one day, saying that she's with Billion Deity. Do you believe that this godly drama of yours will explode in all directions? Director. On the stage, the esports players of the 2 teams were also silent. F***ck, Billion Deity's account. Who dared to move? This can they still play? Someone asked cautiously and hesitantly. If they mess with Song Yao, would Billion Deity open the main god's map overnight and come after them with a knife? These words were recorded, but uncharacteristically, no one in the live stream blamed the players for going easy on them. Ha 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 ha. Sister Yao has become a god, with Billion Deity backing her. You really can't blame the players. Billion Deity is famous for shielding her, ha ha ha. Don't be a coward, bro. Go and cut down Billion Deity's win rate now. Then immediately start the live stream, and let Billion Deity cut you down. The live stream will definitely be full. Do you understand the password to wealth? We're earning money from licking blood from the edge of a knife. Damn, the sister above is so ruthless, ha ha ha. Now that you mention it, I think Billion Deity really spoils Sister Yao, who would be willing to lend her a 100% win rate. Finally, when the competition began, even the organizers did not expect that the live stream would be paralyzed. Therefore, they discussed to have professional players and celebrities mix and match, and they could also hire external help. Hearing that, everyone started contacting external help. Wang Kai invited Xiaoji, which attracted a lot of attention. But after all, Billion Deity had appeared before them, so they were not that surprised. Meanwhile, Song Yao was hesitating. She did not want Pei Yunj to owe others a favor on her behalf. But not long after, suddenly, someone sent her a message, and the dialog box was directly displayed on the screen. HK Team, Yoi. This person from Billion Deity's family? Do you need external help? How about me? Everyone was shocked. Wasn't this the captain of HK Team? However, before they could calm down, another big shot came to ask. RS Team Daichung. Miss Song Yao, do you need external help? I can fly with you too, then. Song Yao was pulled into a group, and it was filled with the top big shots in the industry. RS Team Jin, brothers, don't fight over it. There are still a few competitions left, and everyone is here to show their face to Billion Deity. There's no need to make things awkward, right? P.S. Good night. End of this chapter. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.